Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SuperOldGameSaturday. Back on Saturday this time. I'm Captain D-Trag.
And this is Nocturne.
Good to see you again, Nocturne. We are here for, your first game in a couple months, but it's good to have you back on the show. And I also am doing this, we're doing a special thing for this, a couple of special things. First off, I realized that some of the guests I've pigeonholed in weird ways as far as the games they're playing, because if you recall, Nocturne has been on the show for only games in the Sonic the Hedgehog and the Mega Man franchise so far. Clearly because you have love of it, I would expect.
Oh, yes, obviously.
But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, yeah, if you want to be known as, seeing her on the show or hearing her on the show when it comes to stuff like that, sure. But I also said, hey, what other stuff do you want to do aside from that? I know we've talked other stuff, Nier Automata being one of those, and many others, but also Aladdin for the Sega Genesis came up. And that was what we're playing tonight. You're looking on the screen saying, what is this? Yeah, we're going to get to Aladdin, which did come out on November 11th, 1993 for the Sega Genesis. And they got ported a couple other places, specifically the PC, the Amiga, the NES, the Game Boy Color, and more recently to the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, and PC again via the Disney Classic Games Collection that has this in it. So yeah, this is definitely a great game for what we're going to go, but we also have something else, and as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, you kind of came up with this brilliantly this way, and thank you for it. We're showing off the Game Genie video game enhancer, which came out in 1990 by Codemasters, Camerica, and Galoob for a bunch of systems, starting the NES, where they released it in license, and Nintendo took Galoob to court over this, saying, you don't do this to our system, you're violating our copyright, and you're also, mangling the games of ours, to which Galoob said, no, we think that because we're turning off the codes that get put on, because on the screen there with a nice sword moving around, fitting for the Aladdin case, as well as the Genie case. As soon as you turn the game off, they go away, so that shouldn't be a case of that. Nintendo lost that in court, so at that point, Sega saw it and said, hey Galoob, let's license this officially, where Nintendo won't, and then Nintendo said, if you can't beat them, join them. And so then we have the video game enhancer, the code perspective of this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know you're a big one as far as the Game Genie, and because this game can get pretty hard, she was like, hey, I want to show this. I said, perfect. It fits to that, and actually it fits the last time you were on the show, and we had a video game enhancement device shown by, I guess, tangentially, sort of, with the Game Shark on the Saturn.
Yep. So, just because in the later parts of the game, it's really easy to die a lot. The top code is infinite lives, so we won't run out of lives. The middle code has is for a bit of extra health, 16 units instead of 8. Though the extra health kind of goes away pretty easily if I pick up certain things, which you'll be seeing when we get to that part. And the bottom one, there are one of the items you can pick up is an apple that can be thrown to harm enemies at range. Normally apples only give you 1 per pickup. This code gives me 10 per pickup. It's mainly just so I don't run out of apples for the sake of sharing this game with people.
Oh yeah, fair enough to that, and also because unlike the totally different Aladdin game that's on the Super Nintendo that was by Capcom, designed actually by Shinji Mikami, who made Resident Evil, as well as Goof Troop back in the day. Yeah, the apples will hurt every enemy in this game, as opposed to that one where it stuns the large ones. But yeah, so we're showing off the elements of the Game Genie go along with this, and before we start this, if you want to go into any memories or any thoughts as far as the Game Genie itself, feel free to do that, because that's how we run on this program. And thank you also for coming up with the idea to show this, because we should be showing this on the Super Old Game Saturday show.
Yeah, I tend to see the Game Genie as less of a cheat device and more as a way to play games in different ways than the ones that they're designed to be played. So, in this case, I have it set up in a way that this is really going to be more of an exhibition, like is intended for this stream.
Yeah, definitely so. And you're right about that. I'm like that you said the idea of enhancing stuff. One of my favorites, because I have the Genesis Game Genie as well. It was on other systems. It was on NES, Game Boy, Game Gear, which I used to have that one, but I don't anymore, and Super Nintendo. But I have the Genesis one as well. I think an earlier model than hers, but it's more or less the same. But I liked it for using it for Sonic the Hedgehog. They have the orbital jumps. You basically jump massively into the sky. So I just thought that was kind of cool. And the idea of playing around with your game, along with, maybe making it easier, but also having other cases where it maybe makes it harder.
Yeah. Yeah, there are codes to make things easier, sure, but there are plenty of codes that actually make the game harder. Deliberately.
Yeah, so basically I think what they do is, and this is maybe the crux of what Nintendo's lawsuit that they lost is feasibly thought this is an element of vandalism because it's kind of playing around with the hex data of the cartridges, I believe, but not in a way that feasibly it's going to be causing damage to the games or to the system. I think that was also the idea of what Codemasters, we have not talked enough on the show about. This is, I think, their first appearance. They knew what they were doing when it came to designing stuff, and still do. I mean, back in the day, they were making stuff like Fantastic Dizzy and Cosmic Spacehead, and then more recently, a lot of the stuff like the Colin Corella games, the Dirt franchise more recently. I believe EA owns them now, and I think they've got the Grid franchise going strong. That's a great game, Grid. Especially the first one on the 360. At some point, I do want to show some of those Codemasters games. But anyway, yeah, with that, we have the codes going on that she wants to run. Also, one thing before we start that I want to go into, and this is going to be a little bit of a constant throughout this, we realized when we were doing our tests on this that the Game Genie, or at least maybe the one she has, and also this is the first time we're using the Model 2 Sega Genesis as well, so I don't know if it's necessarily that. I might be able to get a sense when I edit this a couple days if there's a thing to that. We noticed that it's causing audio hissing with the Game Genie alone, and I was kind of nervous about what was it going to sound like. And so we actually went on quite an expedition today, going out to pretty much every retro game store in our area to try and find another one to try and see what was the problem with it, and also to see if there's some way we could mitigate this. The way we came up with this, aside from saying no, we're not using the Game Genie, was we set the game volume up so that it will automatically reduce the game sound for it now, so we'll mitigate some of that, while also allowing enough of this great music of this great game to be heard in the later in the program when we're done with the gameplay. We're going to actually turn the cartridge off, which we can with the RetroSync 5X, and we will then turn it on with just the game itself, so we'll not have the hissing. But we did what we could to reduce it, so that's kind of how we operate on the program that way. And
speaking of the music, the music in this game is really a high-grade treat among Genesis music.
Yeah, and it is also feasibly the first time we have a game, or it is the first time we have a game with music done by, well, it's two people. It was Don Griffin, who was involved at Virgin Games, who developed it, worked on the Jungle Book game, as well as some music for Mario's Time Machine. I think it was the PC version of that specifically, and Cool Spot. But it was also Tommy Tallarico, who did a lot of the soundtrack. We did a lot of games, particularly Prince of Persia on the Game Boy, one of his first ones, which fits with the Aladdin take, as well as Earthworm Jam, Wild 9, and of course, Color Dinosaur. I don't know if you're familiar with that one on NES.
No.
There's a picture that's going to be of Color Dinosaur when I edit this in a few days, so you're going to be wanting to take a look at that saying, what the hell is this? This idea we're just coloring a dinosaur. It's like Mario Paint, or Nintendo Power, I think said specifically, quote, imagine Mario Paint without anything funny. You've got this Barker from Virgin Games, and I think they consider like one of the worst games ever made, and I think Tallarico was saying it was weird case as far as him making it. So yeah, this is going to be our loving on Aladdin, and also on elements of it, the movies, the television show, this game, and the other games as well. I think with that, we can get started. As I said, it's going to start doing this weird hissing. I think it might be because of the Game Genie, but let's get this running if you're all set to go.
And when I start this, there's going to be an odd electronic beep that runs for a few seconds. That's completely normal when loading a game from the Game Genie.
Mm-hmm. And feasibly, I guess here's the other thing. If nothing else, we always say this is about celebrating retro gaming, which is not to say, no, we don't do newer games, but also the thought that for that, what did you have to do when you were growing up playing stuff like this to run through that? So I guess it's kind of a replication of that. And thank you very much, Noct, for coming back for the show and also for playing this game. This is hers, by the way. She's playing through the whole game specifically, so I can sit back, watch, and run my mouth as usual.
Yep.
All right, if you're all ready.
Yep. So let's go.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, and see the personality of the game starting from the Sega logo as Genie shoots the starting gun off, and Yogo gets shot. Yeah, so the whole begins Aladdin for the Sega Genesis, released about 11 days before that Super Nintendo one that Capcom made. And yeah, here you go. You're hearing the take on A Whole New World for the soundtrack. Hopefully we won't get constant strike on this, either for this or YouTube later. Although, as I was saying to you, I was looking, we didn't have that happen. But alright, what do we got going on? I guess, do you want us to check the options to see what's running on that?
Yeah, there's a difficulty selection. We'll be playing this on normal because that's entirely doable.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a hard mode and an easy mode called difficult and practice, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll be playing on normal. Music, this literally turns music on and off.
Yeah, I'm surprised they give you the option of that because the music's so damn good.
Yeah, the existence of this option is something of an insult, I think.
I guess so, but I said maybe the question of, as I said, the license thing. But look, Disney is not going to be trouble before with stuff, even with Kingdom Hearts, we played that. So I'm feeling good as far as this one, as far as it. So I think we're in good shape. As well as sound tests, we'll come back to later, and you can change the controls to however you would want them to be playing.
Yep, and we'll be using the default here, but you can change up which buttons do which action. Sword is slashing with your sword, of course. Jump is self-explanatory, and throw is the button that throws the apples that I mentioned earlier.
Alright.
And sound test, we will be getting to that later.
Yeah, because this game has amazing audio and we gotta celebrate. Alright, so let's get ready to take a carbon fly to another Arabian Night. Get the scarab as far as our cutscene. So yeah, this is going to tell elements of the movie as well as give you a little bit of a layout of how the gameplay works. What you're trying to do, save Jasmine the picture, starting at the, the merchant's table from the opening of the movie. With also all of your items and gems and everything there. Well, Dolly Finn, good evening to you. We are playing Aladdin for the Sega Genesis. Says Nocturne and I here. Good to see you tonight. Feel free to let us know any memories you have on Aladdin for Sega Genesis or any of the other games based on it and any aspects of the movie as we begin our story on a dark night. Yeah, we're going to the merchant specifically saying, like, yeah, we got that pot that's like a mixture of a pot, a hookah, and it also makes Julian fries, as the Crusader 64 said about a month ago. Good to see you tonight. As we're also seeing Iago saying, Jafar, haven't you found him yet? How much longer do I have to keep running on this thing? By the way, rest in peace, Gilbert Gottfried, unfortunately. But yeah, he did voice Iago in the movie. Of course, there is Jafar voiced by John Freeman in the movie and in Kingdom Hearts, but there's gonna be a voice sample here that sounds a lot like him, as we're gonna hear. But just like with the movie, yeah, you have to find the diamond in the rough. Well, to you as well. Well, good to see you tonight, Dolly Finn. Thank you for joining us. As Nocturne's playing, we're starting the Agrabah market.
Yep.
And the great music is just starting now. A lot of it from the movie, as it is.
Yep. Also, just a note, the health bar at the top, the smoke coming out of the genie lamp, one whole section does look glitchy. That's because of the extra health cheat that I have active.
Yeah, and you're seeing already there the great animation of Aladdin tossing the apple and rolling off his arm, just like in the movie. As you're hearing Prince Ali, it's wonderful stuff. Yeah, feel free to go into anything else, Nocturne, on this game. Lead this one. It is all yours.
Yep. So, these are actually just basic hazards. They are beds of hot coals that you can run over, or you can just jump over them.
I love the deals you actually run over them, but also the animation there where they jump on them like in the movie, and they're like, ooh, my feet are hurting. They don't knock fast in the feet the way Aladdin is. And that sort. By the way, one thing I'm going to mention also quickly before she goes on is that there's going to be a little bit of flashing light questions anytime there is a sword slash, because if you make a clang with another enemy and they have a sword, there'll be a little bit of flash screen. Not horrible, but just worth pointing that out.
Alright, so I am going to actually be returning over here in a moment after getting up here. So this is the normal way we can get up.
Mm-hmm. In that case...
Oh, right. The black lamp that just exploded, that's actually an item in the game that when you touch it, it explodes and usually kills enemies. It's the black lamp in question is actually modeled after Jafar's lamp, after he gets turned into a genie at the end of the movie.
Yeah, although one thing interesting about this, I looked in the manual for this, because saying, wait a second, how does that make sense? But the thing about that is, like, they say it's like a fake lamp, so it's like, initially, like, that's the idea of what it's gonna become. Maybe the thought that Jafar's destiny is all in set, but, like, yeah, at this point, yeah, it's just gonna be destroying everybody.
Alright, so I deliberately did not jump onto the little platform there, because we are going to do a fun little, thing that I just learned about, that I just learned how to reliably do, earlier today, last night, something like that.
Is the super jump. You want to tell them how it works?
So, there's... when you're bouncing on anything you can bounce off of, like these camels, there are flagpoles you can bounce off of. There's a variety of things. If you walk off of a platform from over them
and get a life somehow, where'd that come from?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna do edits on that. I'm glad that happened, just so we get a sense of what's going on. Or maybe you have to jump on the camel so much, because remember how better to walk through the streets of Agrabah.
Maybe it has something to do with something similar to that one in the next stage with the hat.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure. I'll look into what that is, and we'll put an edit here as far as what's it all about. Feasibly. I'm glad we showed that. But all right, fine. Super jump. What happens with that? Yeah. That's what I love about this show. Sometimes stuff you don't predict is going to happen. That's a brilliant thing.
So yeah, let's not keep Aladdin waiting.
Yep. But because remember, he's like all fast on his feet. He's like just playing around with the apple. But we'll go on with that.
So as I walk off this platform in a moment, I'm going to be holding down the jump button after I drop off the platform, but before I bounce off the camel. When I do that, it's going to make Aladdin jump really, really high, like 2 to 3 times as high as he normally can bounce off of the camel.
Alright, so I want to do the honors. Go ahead.
Yep.
There you go. And
that's also a nice little shortcut.
Indeed it is. And then the genie tokens as well, which is for a bonus game at the end of the level, yes?
Yep. At the end of each level, there's a bonus game that you can play. And you get as many tries as you collect genie tokens.
Alright.
And there is a different bonus game that's available at the end of some of the levels, but you need to collect a special token for that.
Alright, so we'll definitely see that as we're enjoying our time in the Agrabah market as it is. Loving the great look of the animations of Aladdin, and fitting to go into that because this was actually the first game, I believe, that Disney's animators were involved with helping for the graphics on. It was because of Patrick Gilmore, who saw the initial version of this, which was developed by Blue Sky Software, who made World Series Baseball and Vector Man, saying he was so upset with how that version was looking. It was kind of like very choppy the way the Little Mermaid game they made on Genesis was.
Yeah.
They said, start from over to scratch, and we're going to be involved, and that's what got this game as far as its great animations.
Yeah, so... it's partially this one is partially obscured, but that little blue half a heart, there's actually a full blue heart there, but half of it's covered by the scenery. That thing normally restores health, but when I have the extra health from the Game Genie, if I collect that, it will drop me back down to the default 8 health.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to avoid hitting those as much as possible. I will still be hitting them sometimes. Yeah,
there's some points, as you were mentioning when you're doing your test play of this, that they deliberately make it so you can't avoid it.
And here we have our first checkpoint.
Yep. You can slash it. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you don't need to slash it. You can also just run into it, but it's a genie pot. Those are your checkpoints.
Okay, we're definitely going to get our stuff with Genie as we go along, and anything else with the movie. So chat, feel free to go into memories of all of the movies, which for my preparation for this game this week, I did watch all of them. Yeah, the animations again are amazing, aren't they? As long as we have the guards there saying like, come on, doing the come hither thing. It's like, Aladdin, go there and then just run through. Yeah, then you ran into them with your knife, as it is, or sword.
Also, you may notice that the number next to the number of apples we have, the number for the number of apples we have, it has a glitched tens place. That's because of the each apple is worth 10 code I have on. We probably have like somewhere between 1 and 200 apples right now, but it normally maxes out at 99.
Yeah, in that case, you're all set for that. Actually, that's something I think I don't know if we've actually shown it for the show, but I know a lot of games in the 63 era you could do that with, even within like getting lives over like a counter. I know like a lot of the Sonic games tend to do that. Which, fitting, I guess, for that. In some way, wait, did he just disappear, or did you kill him?
I think I killed him as I dropped. I'm not actually sure.
That's what the edit's going to be for, so I'll show a picture of did you actually kill him or not, which probably did, but... Alright, there you go, there's your flash. It's not bad, it's like the camera stuff we had in Parasite Eve a few weeks ago. Which...
Whoops.
Okay, we should show that happening, though.
I mean, this is an easy stage, so I can afford to trip it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, see that basket there?
Oh, I never saw him do that before.
Those guys steal apples. When playing through the game normally, without a cheat device, those guys are actually a problem if you don't kill them very quickly.
Okay.
They don't actually hurt you, they just steal apples, but apples are very useful.
Oh,
not against these guys.
Oh, they're invisible to apples, okay. See, it's weird. We've been playing this game for 29 years, because though the movie came out in 1992, the game came out the year after. So, at that point, I've been learning a lot about this game just from the purpose of us doing the play on this, and also looking into the stories, the background of this game, which is pretty impressive to see that. As well as, reflecting the knives, which I love that touch.
Also, see that shiny Abu token over there? Abu is the monkey, of course.
Oh, yeah.
That is the bonus stage token that I talked about for the other bonus stage.
Now, I'm pretty sure you're going to go get that for sure.
Of course. And we will also have more fun bouncing off of stuff.
And more fun just fighting the fighting the guards as it is. And as I mentioned to you off camera, I'll also go into this now. Tommy Tallarico did the music for this game, as I mentioned. We brought him up before when we played Sonic Heroes a little bit. But one of the first games he worked on was actually the Game Boy version of Prince of Persia, which thematically is a lot like this, and also has some of the same elements of animations, the way they were doing that. Like Jordan Mechner was like rotoscoping some of that, so it's kind of fitting that he's coming together on this one that way.
Yeah, and here is our first encounter with the merchant.
Yep.
So here you can buy tries and wishes. Tries are your extra lives in the game, and wishes are continues. So yes, if you run out of lives and continues, it is in fact game over.
Yeah, at some point I think we could show at the end maybe the idea of just intentionally game overing to show the screen of, what happens when that happens. But yeah, in that case...
It is a beautifully drawn screen.
Oh, then again, like this game, I mean, you want to just go into that as far as your take on the look on top of everything else, as well as we're getting the stuff with the music, and yeah.
And here we go.
At that point, make way for Prince Ali, and we are walking our way off, taking a stroll around the block.
And first up is the bonus game based on genie tokens. Mm-hmm. So here you can get extra apples, extra gems, which are used at the merchant booths to buy your tries and wishes. So apples, gems, extra lives, and the fourth thing you see there is a Jafar token, which ends the bonus round, regardless of how many genie tokens you have.
Speaking of which, this thing is rigged because clearly there's more of Jafar on it than everything else.
Well,
speaking of which, key there, and you get that laugh there. It's like and if you do that, you lose them all and you're out. But at this point, yeah, you also get to go along with Abu in the marketplace.
Yep, I am not very good at these bonus stages, but these are actually pretty tough to actually beat, but you still get stuff through by playing them.
Yeah.
If you don't die to the first thing.
Yeah, if you get hit once, by the way, you're done. So, but you do have your sword as well as you go along, but avoid the pots to start. Oh, hearing Abu going the uh-oh.
Actually, his uh-ohs are a tell for when those strings are going to fall.
Okay.
So, they are actually useful.
Nice. Well, yeah, you tried to do that. So, yeah, if you get hit once, that's it. But either way, you can get some nice items out there. You did get a gem, at least. There's that.
Yep, I got a few gems.
Go on.
I mean, it's the bonus stages are largely pointless when you have infinite lives, infinite lives and tons of apples, but we're fine.
Yeah, indeedo, this game is shuffling the plot of the movie around, but it still feels of a piece because, yeah, we have this old dude here saying, like, hey, we gotta get the scarabs as we're gonna go into the desert, and hear one of the original pieces of music in this game, which is amazing, and start gushing now on the soundtrack for this, if you want.
One of the best tracks in the game.
And one of the best tracks feasibly you'll ever hear on the Sega Genesis. You're going off to find the scarab to the camel jazz.
So right where I was when we started this stage, if I went left, I would find 4 apples in a diamond shape just a few feet above the ground.
Okay.
However, if I go this way a little bit, and then return, I think this is good enough here.
Okay.
There will be another thing there. Or at least there should be.
Yep. Oh, life. Okay, so it's like Earthworm Jam, which, there's Virgin Games USA who developed this game. A lot of the people who worked on Queen. David Perry was the director on this, went on to work on Earthworm Jam at Shiny. So that it's kind of like that. We find like this hidden thing or like the glowing thing, and then the idea is that go back and find something special, including here.
Yeah, and here is another thing. Whoop. This.
It's a little finicky.
Yep.
But yeah, if you line yourself up with the Mickey Mouse ears with the animation there, there's a life that's going to come out of that. You just have to stand in the right place.
Yeah, it's really picky about where you stand. Sometimes I can get it, sometimes I can't.
Okay.
I kind of wonder if triggering the extra life at the start takes the place of this one.
Really? Okay.
I really can't say for sure one way or another, but
okay.
I'm pretty sure I have him in the right spot right now.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, you put yourself up with the Mickey Mouse. There's a great attention to detail as well. So you have a couple of those going on with the Disney connection. So just like the movie was, because the movie itself had a lot of in-references for Disney as it was.
Yeah, and that's not the only Mickey hat you'll see in the game.
Yeah.
But it's the only one you can potentially quote-unquote wear. And
actually, it goes to something I said when we played Rise Star, and I wish I remember this. I don't know why I didn't remember this. I said the boss of Planet Freon and that, it's one of the only cases in the game I know of where the idle animation of your character is used for gameplay purpose for the boss there, one of the bosses in the first level. But I forgot this game. Yeah, use that and you get an extra life there. Feasibly, I guess, as far as that. I think you're probably right, but the idea of secrets of this game, it goes to that idea of there's a lot of interesting things, a lot of attention to details in just the desert here.
Also, that random stop sign telling you to stop before you walk into the spike pit.
Yeah, or to go to Barney's Hide and Seek game, which came out the same year, stop, wait until it's safe. So I was like, yeah, in that case, yeah, that'd be hilarious. You're Barney walking through this level.
Yeah. Actually, have you done the Barney Hide and Seek game?
No, I haven't. I was thinking, yeah, with that one, I don't want to just do that one alone. I kind of want to, I think maybe what we'll do with that one is that I kind of want to mix it with other games of the Sega Club. Technically, Barney's Hide and Seek game is not one of those. But the other two I have Crystal's Ponytail, which is by, I think, Arctic Design, who made Boogie Bunnies on Xbox 360, which is a game I love, puzzle game. I'd love to show that one off. And then also, the other one I have is one I think you have, which is the Wacky Worlds Creativity Studio by Head Games, which is the one that has Sonic and Tails involved, sort of, and Toe Jam and Earl as well, actually. So I was thinking feasibly doing all three of those in a row, and with the RetroTIC 5X we're going to show later with the sound test stuff, we can have switching of cartridges that way. So I think that might be the way to go on those, because then we can kind of get a little bit more of a show on that.
Yeah.
Or there's other Sega Club games you'd be curious in, because I know there's a couple. There's a couple that are based on, you remember like Richard Scarry's Busy Town?
That was a show, right?
It was a show. It was also a series of books by Richard Scarry, the guy who wrote it. And they made a couple games on it. There were a couple on the Sega Pico, but there's one on the Sega Genesis, actually. I think there's two of them. I'll put the names what they are in the edit.
Actually, wait. We are going to do this a slightly different way.
Oh, yeah.
Also, look at the beautiful carving of Goofy.
Yeah. Yuck. So, yeah, fitting with Kingdom Hearts. With Kingdom Hearts last year, or started last year and ended this year, that we had Goofy in the desert with Aladdin, technically, as far as our group with Sora and Donald. But in the case of this game, like, yeah, he's here too. Well, yeah, and you're just blowing up all the guards. But yeah, that is where the merchant is over there. But yeah, to go back to the Sega Club thing, yeah, there's a couple other ones I could get for that. And there's also one based on the Magic School Bus. When we get the PC situation situated, I want to show the ones that Microsoft made for that. Because there are definitely some good ones if you've played them. Or what your take is as far as the Magic School Bus itself. On top of
one of the best things in the game.
Yeah,
the sound. One of the best things in the game right here.
Or also the stuff in the background you're seeing there, which is, men's, women's, and, well, Genie.
Well, actually, strictly speaking, there is no men's... oh, wait,
Yeah,
there is. But yeah, we have a men's bathroom tent, a women's bathroom tent, and a genie bathroom tent.
Or it makes me think of Austin Powers, that's come up on the show a little before, which is the idea that when he's frozen out, it's like, yeah, they take that into account on top of the fact he's been frozen for 30 years, if you know what I'm talking about that way. But, yeah, going through with the great music here, collecting scarabs. So, yeah, instead of, Gazim, who in the movie was, the one who had it, and like, yeah, then you open up the Cave of Wonders, yeah, we're doing in this game. Okay, so they've proven on last time, so feasibly, that would be interesting if each time you do this, you get increasingly more, more prizes as we're going to the next stage.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we're going to be loving the stuff with the music. That's every level, basically, this game. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, every stage in this game is good in some way or another.
Yeah, and they're chasing me all because of a loaf of bread, right? No, not really.
Alright. So, see that life up there?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that trick I mentioned earlier about bouncing high?
There you go. Yeah, keeping one step ahead of the bread line, one step ahead of the... Or one jump ahead of the bread line, one step ahead of the sword. I just steal what I can't afford, and that's everything. So yeah, we're going there stuff as far as the movies are concerned, and I love it.
I'm not sure if you noticed, but we just had our first sliced apple.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you throw an apple at an enemy who throws daggers at you, if your apple hits one of their daggers, it basically stops and gets cut in half and falls off the screen.
Which is an amazing attention to detail. We were talking about this. I mean, not only the idea that, Disney got involved with this game for the animations, specifically, but also just the idea that it's just that those little things you think that, would anybody necessarily want to animate that? And they didn't have to do that, but they did, and it just gives this game such a life, such a personality, and such a, in a weird way, timelessness, even though it's almost 30 years old now. It still feels as fresh as it did when it came out back in 1993.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's not a long game.
Yeah.
But there is so much going for it. Also,
and a lot of details there. Like, see the pipe over there. I never noticed that actually smoking on the back there like that.
Yep.
There's all these little things you just see, and that's the great thing about it. Okay, that was weird. It looked like you were throwing the apple sort of. It's missing. Okay. That was interesting. So yeah, if you're too close, it doesn't throw the apple. Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool. I just love the fact that you're just showing all these interesting things off of this game as we're playing. Yeah, okay, now, yeah, Aladdin's doing the magic tricks this way at this point. So, yeah, I can throw those apples into the knives and slice them. It's like when you go to, like, a Renaissance festival or some kind of, I don't know, like, old-time, fair case or something, like the state fair, say, and you see people doing that. It's awesome.
And since we have such a ridiculous amount of apples, we are going to try to kill a lot of things with apples.
Yeah, may as well.
And drop pants.
Oh yeah, I love that. As I said, it never gets old, does it?
No, and for some reason, I am having trouble grabbing that gem.
Yeah, can you get it with the sword?
You can collect any item with the sword, but you need to, But sometimes you can even just jump straight into that one.
Okay. Yeah, it is weird.
Oh,
okay.
there we go.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, just have to say, no, I can't get it enough. Like, go that, hoot! And I think that's the only time in the game that happens, but I just love the fact that, like, yeah, you're sliding down the slide for life, as I always call it. And it just is wonderful. I mean, look, we're going to be gushing over this game. I think that's really what it's kind of coming down to. Okay, for a minute I thought that was the game. I was like, wait a second, no, that was not the game. Never mind. Actually, it looked like, for one thing, it looked like you were almost running off the walls. Like, yeah, consider the preview to Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, we'll play that eventually. I'll tell you, this is going to one thing I'll say about this game, so I'm kind of glad you're playing it this way. In some ways, this is something that, as much of a straightforward kind of linear game as it is, there's a lot of ways to kind of be fancy with it that just are fun to watch.
Yeah. Like, I tend to play the game pretty much the same way most of the time, but I'm kind of going all over the stages. Also, if I can get up there properly.
All you gotta do is jump. Yeah, so fitting. Yeah, that's the other thing, because the music is so amazing in this game, and it's syncopated so perfectly with how the movie's music sounds, and not going to jump explicitly onto that as much as you were telling me we were doing our test plays. Feel free to it. Like, you want to sing along with you, like, know all the lyrics of the movie soundtrack that way.
Yeah, you can absolutely sing along to this game, and it will be on point every time.
Yeah, that was what we were doing when we were on our quest to... Okay, so that's how you get the Abu token. I was like, when you were doing the test play, I didn't even know it was in this level. Oh yeah, we were doing that when we were just driving around trying to find the other case of the Game Genie thing. I was like, yeah, we had that going. It was like, with the Genesis music, singing the music of the movie, like, 1-to-1. And I was like, let's listen to the movie soundtrack, and let's listen to the Super Nintendo soundtrack as a bit of a comparison that way. Which definitely made an interesting case with that as well. Yeah, this game is just a joy. I'm just gonna say that, as well as the stuff with the movies as it is with here. But yeah, here is Gazim. So yeah, unlike the movie where he died being eaten by the Cave of Wonders in the opening, no, in this case, yeah, she's just standing there slicing him to death. Maybe not as dignified a death, but okay.
He is very easy to kill.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what you do for getting the flutes, which basically opens the next part of the stage.
Oh, cool. We got this route.
Okay. Yeah, you're saying there's apparently like a randomness to whether it takes you this way or you go straight up, I think?
Yeah, like, most of, like, if you're having an average run of the game, when you grab onto this rope, it'll just take you straight up here instead of going on that detour that it just took me on.
Gotcha, okay. I don't know what the stipulation for that is. I'll see if I can't find it when I edit it, and we can put something in for it. Going to the next boss. Yeah, there's Razul, who is the leader of the Palace's Royal Guard in the movie, and in all the movies he's voiced by Jim Cummings, who we've mentioned when we played Kingdom Hearts specifically. And physically, anytime we touch Clayfire's Sculptor's Cut, as it's going to be because he's doing a voice in that one. Or however I might be able to show off the remake of Splatterhouse. That's going to be a very specific one, because I know there's nudity in that game that I know I can't show, so I'll have to figure that out eventually. I don't know, you ever play any Splatterhouse games?
Nope.
Yeah, by Namco. Definitely these very bloody, macabre things, but they're definitely very interesting. Well, you're handling this game with absolute aplomb so far, so good job.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck you, Jafar, we don't care.
Yeah, on a normal run of this game, I would actually want to get stuff from the bonus rounds, but...
Yeah.
Everything that's available there is basically rendered null and void with the setup we have with the Game Genie.
Pretty much. And then you go into this, and when I was seeing the test play, I guess it's the same pattern as on the first level when you get it in Agrabah, I believe, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. It's almost like you're getting a little bit of another chance to this one.
Kinda. Whoops.
Yeah, that is a hard one to handle that when the pots are coming down. Yeah, the good news is that Abu's going to survive.
Yep.
Okay, so we got the elements of the scarab, and just like the movie, we got kidnapped, but, well, Princess Jasmine, who's voiced in the movie by Linda Larkin, came by and said, like, no, and hand him on the order of the princess, or by order of the princess, as it is. So actually, they are following the movie quite faithfully as far as a lot of stuff, including the idea here of what Razul's response is, which is basically him saying, sorry, princess, you'll have to take it up with Jafar. Believe me, I will. And of course, in the movie, the element is he's thrown in the dungeon, but then she's told that he's innocent. Jafar, why'd you do this? Like, oh, I'm sorry. I wish I'd have known, because I already carried out his punishment. Beheading. But yeah, not in this case. I believe the remake does not do that specifically as far as that. And we can go into the elements of the movies as well as we go into the dungeon of the Sultan. But the great music here too, and the great blues in the background. My God, we'll talk about the color in this. You know, you want to jump into this? I feel like I've been talking this game more than you have.
Well, I mean, I've been kind of focusing on just doing fun stuff to show off.
Yeah.
But actually, remember how in the desert area I mentioned that we'd be seeing more Mickey hats?
Uh-huh.
There's one right on one of the skulls in that pile of bones.
Yeah, so I guess Mickey died down here, feasibly. Or, when we played Mickey Mania, we played the Sega CD version of that. There's two ties to that, along with, I guess, the dog who's, like, frozen there or something, or holding the key. I never actually noticed that. And the mousetrap. But, when we played that game, there's, like, skeleton things with a Mickey Mouse hat on in that game as well. And that was a year after this one, so maybe they took the idea from this game. As doing that wonderful interpretation of Arabian Nights. Yeah, with those things. It's like, those are like Mickey Mania there, because when you hit them, or when they explode, they have the bones going all across, but you can avoid them in this game. Yeah, feel free, Nocturne, just to say anything you want on this one.
Well, let's just say that those exploding skeletons are really annoying.
Uh-huh.
Also, I believe you will notice a certain crab on the wall there.
Yeah, that is Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. I wonder, now that I know the background of this with Blue Sky making The Little Mermaid Genesis game and Patrick Gilmore being so mad about it, he said start the game over with a new team. I wonder if they put that in feasibly for that. Well, then again, the movie also has a reference to that too. So maybe it's that as well.
Also, there is absolutely an apple that's hidden behind there that I already collected, but when I first jumped down. But yeah, there's an apple hidden behind there.
But they give you the flash, I think, when you pick it up, yes?
Flash?
Yeah, like that, right there. So actually, that's not dissimilar to what they do. Actually, no, what they did for Cool Spot, because Cool Spot was by the same people as this game. All right, there. Oh, you can reflect the bones.
Yep.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm glad on Nocturne on this game. For a game that I got the sense that I'd been knowing so well after playing for 29 years, and I think you as well, as far as playing it for a while, I'm just finding out all these new things about it.
Oh yeah, I've played this game practically to death.
When was the first time you played it? Just to go into that. If you remember.
I don't remember. It was like I remember Mom got it for me and my brother at one point, and I started playing it pretty much immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the idea, and that sometimes is what happens. The idea that you get it as a gift from someone for something like that, and especially back when this game came out, the thought of playing a movie. And playing a movie that I guess feasibly you really enjoy. Am I right about that? Saying you love this movie?
Oh yes.
So the idea of getting a translation of that and getting it so on point with that movie.
Oh yes.
It's wonderful that way. And you don't always get that. We saw it when we played Batman Forever a couple months ago. Batman Forever is nowhere near as good as this game is, and that's being generous, just saying that. So getting something like Aladdin this way, it's like, yeah, this game is held in high regard for a reason. And it's also feasibly why it is the third best-selling game on the Sega Genesis behind Sonic 1 and 2 with 3 million units. Or no, yeah, I have my notes down here. Oh no, 4 million units, actually. Actually, there's a period where it was bundled in with the Genesis Model 2. I think it's the only case of a Disney game or a licensed game, a licensed game like based on something like this, like a movie or something, that's been bundled in with the system. That's how big a deal this game was. And when I played it right when it came out in the sense I was renting it, but I didn't actually own it until about 2001 when I bought... There was like a sale on a group of Sega Genesis games from a GameStop, or I guess Electronics Boutiques would have been in that case. And like a box, and I got like 12, and this is one of them. It's definitely one of the highlights of the Sega Genesis, and one that, as we said earlier this month, Nintendo looked at this, they said, this game did so well for them, we want something that's going to be on the line of this, and that's how we got Donkey Kong Country. They were responding to this game, so also kudos to you for picking this game, Nocturne, for that, on the back of us doing Donkey Kong Country, so it kind of fit perfectly, and also bookends nicely for when we do GoldenEye next month.
Yep. And I am... Well, I shouldn't jinx it just yet. But...
No, you don't have to. Good job. First try making that jump.
Yeah, so far, I have not failed to jump on the platforms that keep sliding in and out of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It is... The game is extremely specific, to put it nicely, about making those jumps from one of those platforms to another.
Yeah, and actually, if you want an indication of that and how feasibly not to do it, go back to our play of Pitfall: The Mind Adventure for the Sega CD. That's how we played it, where I had that running a lot. And actually, Proto was in the channel on that one. And one thing he brought up with that, because he played it on the Genesis specifically, and ElecVerse played the Super Nintendo version, so it's like we're connecting all the versions, understanding what's the differences. One thing he mentioned, that since it was running CD audio for the Sega CD version we played, you kind of have to time your jumps differently for like moving blocks. They're like that, actually, to a certain degree. So at that point, it kind of made it a little more difficult. And actually, to go into one thing, as I was doing my research on this game, this is a case of when this is going to have a Sega CD version, but they never made it. Hey, ElecVerse, so good to see you tonight for Aladdin for the Sega Genesis. Sorry I'm late. No worries, we are all here. Nocturne and I are here. Nocturne here's playing the game for Aladdin for Sega Genesis. Feel free to let us know any of your memories on this one. And as we go along, yeah, and Nocturne's taking us through this, and also showing the elements of the Game Genie. Talk about perfect melding that way.
Yep. And I could not get to that skeleton before it went boom.
Uh-huh. Yeah, as I said, we saw that when we did Mickey Mania. Except in that game, you can't avoid them. As soon as you kill them, they just explode in bones no matter what. So yeah, there you go. You definitely get a little bit of an easier time this way for it. But like Mickey Mania, it's also a case of showing off, elements of animation with Disney, being involved and doing a great job of it. There we are. We are out. Good job.
That, for the record, is one of my favorite stages in the game. Despite the... Oh, okay, we didn't actually see it, but...
What was that?
Despite the difficulty with the platforms, which we didn't actually see there.
There you go. That's the benefit of practice run, specifically. Good job, by the way, on that, as we get another loss to that. But yeah, we're fine with that. I personally have memories of the Super Nintendo game that Capcom made. We did rent this one for sure. Yeah, and... I played this one to start because
I accidentally buttoned through the cutscene there.
That's fine. We can go back to that. I liked it. Yeah, it is a very good game. I mean, what happened? Shit.
I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, if you're wondering where some of these tech elements are coming from, including some hissing, it might have something to do with the Game Genie, we think.
Well, I don't think those cuts have anything to do with the Game Genie.
Yeah, I don't understand what that's about. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so whatever the case is, yeah, we're in the Cave of Wonders now. Yeah, to go back to that thing with the Super Nintendo game, what's your take on the Super Nintendo game? Have you played it much?
I really haven't played it much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of it, and that's about it.
Yeah, it was designed by Shinji Mikami, who went on to make Resident Evil, actually. And he also made Goof Troop on Super Nintendo as well. And it had some music by Yuki Iwai, who did music for Mega Man X2, as You're Dying. But yeah, this is where the game is getting a little bit harder for it. Yeah, I like the Super Nintendo game as well. It's definitely a different experience, kind of like Prince of Persia in terms of the platforming element, but this one is that you have the sword for it, for sure. So I get the idea of that. I was having issues as far as my Switch because I thought my nephew broke it, which is why I'm like, yeah, that's fine to that. Do what you gotta do, as we always are saying on the show. And, of course, thank God for the edit, as you've said before. So all the other stuff we've had on the show and all the other stuff we're gonna have going on, yeah, it'll all be there for you in a couple of days.
Yep, and these things are a pain in the butt to deal with. I mean, you can't kill them with apples. The apples will just bounce right off. You can see them kind of falling behind Aladdin because they bounced off. And your sword can't normally hit them.
Right. But
in order to damage them, you need to have your back toward them so they start attacking you.
There you go.
I'm not sure if you saw it there, but it started to move to attack. It will throw stuff at me, and those hurt.
Okay, indeedo. Yeah, that is, by the way, that is Shiva, the god of death. I was thinking the movie Michael Clayton when it comes to that because of, the scene where, Tom Wilkinson indicates that as far as his guilt over elements of a, pharmaceutical company. But yeah, in that case, yeah, for sure that I get that idea as far as some of the stuff we've been going into. Yeah, I mean, my experience more is with this one, although I'll say this to go with that Super Nintendo game. I was kind of, even though I had this one, I loved this game, I kind of, since I didn't have Super Nintendo at the time, I was kind of looking on a little bit with envy, saying, wait, this is a game I can't play. Although I guess years later, I'd probably say I like this one more. But they're different experience above anything else. So, if nothing else, they're both worth playing. At some point, we'll show that. And I think when we do that, I'll show the Disney Classic Games collection to run that. Yeah, now I can rewind for sure. Yeah, fitting for the show. Because I think that's the idea. We've run in that case, too. Because do you want to talk about what our adventure was today? As far as some of the elements of that?
Oh, right. Trying to find another Game Genie.
Yeah, we basically... I'll bring this up also whenever we play Kirby Canvas Curse, which you can, because I have the Wii Virtual Console version of that. We went to pretty much every retro store in the area that we could find to say that, hey, because there's some hissing stuff going on with this, which we managed the audio, I think, to make that okay, I think. Basically, we kind of go around there and say, like, hey, can we get another one of these to get a kind of rule the element of it out? But in that case, we weren't, but we were able to figure stuff on the test audio, but we had that going pretty well. Yeah, I like both the Genesis and the Super Nintendo versions, even though I couldn't beat the Genesis version. Yeah. You want to go on that, Nocturne, as far as the beating of this game?
Wait, I was actually paying too much attention to what was going on screen there to hear what was going on.
The idea of liking both versions of the Aladdin, even though I never beat the Sega Genesis version. If easily, I guess you beat the Super Nintendo one, then I guess like first, but I guess for you, would Nocturne... elements of beating this game, because yeah, this is not easy, as you're saying.
It's not easy, but it is very rewarding.
And it's fair feasibly, I would say. It's not something that I would necessarily say that this game's going to screw you out. I mean, you could feasibly say that with some other games at the time. I know you could sort of say that with The Lion King a little bit, which is by Westwood Studios, who developed that. People made Command & Conquer. And depending on who you ask, you might feasibly say The Jungle Book a little bit. Which I'm going to have to do because I know Proto-Rovo wanted to see that. And that's now in that Disney Classic Games collection. We're going to the mini-boss here, the Shiva Monkey, or the Monkey Idol. What do you do to kill him?
He just kind of teleports back and forth. He will attack, but if you get a good rhythm going, you can hit him before he attacks, and then he doesn't get to attack at all.
There you go. That's kind of what I was running through this game. Because, yeah, I've beaten this game specifically. I did beat it on its hardest difficulty. But it's not easy, for sure. For the purpose of that.
And here's the first appearance of Carpet.
Yeah. Yeah, Rugman, I haven't seen you in a millennia. Give me some Tessel. So there you go. Yeah, I just got my Switch sitting next to the fan and to dry it just in case. Yeah, the idea of that, we were doing that with the Game Genie. We're saying, like, let's run rubbing alcohol over that. We're using a sponge on top of that, not just the Q-tips. We're running the sponge on the top of the thing. For the purpose of that.
So, okay, I kind of spoiled what's going on here, but normally when you're doing a playthrough, you'll kind of scale this hill here and follow those platforms up, but we are taking the easy route through.
Yeah, which I didn't know you could actually go in this until today, actually, when you showed me.
Wait, did I screw myself out of it?
Because you went in before... Oh...
I think I might have screwed myself out of it by going up too far.
Well, here's a question.
Well, we are going to drop into a bottomless pit.
Or drown, Aladdin, drown. But I was going to say, because I know you're saying that, at first I was questioning, I said, I didn't know you could go in this way if you go in the, on the right from there. Okay, so, that's the other theme I guess we're noticing for this play, is that us learning something about this game we've been playing for a while. I guess go to the Switch thing. Yeah, this game is on the Switch in that Disney Classic Games collection, so you get that idea going.
And there is Genie's lamp. And okay, I ducked and I collected it.
There you go. I like that you're showing that it's definitely unconventional that way. Of course, what happens as far as the Cave of Wonders is that, don't touch anything except the lamp. You get a life. Nice job. Actually, yeah, there's a to this, but of course... Actually, wait a minute, no. Yeah, we got the bonus level, which I think this is the last appearance of it in the game.
I believe it is. I'm not actually completely certain.
I'll take a look when we edit this just to get a sense of it. Yeah, good luck with the element as far as Switch. Fingers crossed it's okay. I think it should be, because I get the sense the Switch is pretty reliable, generally speaking. In some cases, anyway. The Joy-Con drift being an element. I actually did get mine fixed recently for the purpose of that, so that we could do the House of the Dead remake in October sometime. Which I'll go into that a little more when we get closer to that date.
Okay, come on.
Okay, good job. Oh, this one is making you use the sword more. A little bit, for the purpose of that.
I was trying a different strategy.
But you did get further.
Yeah, well, no, I got further that one time that the second boulder popped up.
Yeah, good point. But of course, yeah, touch nothing but the lamp. Iago, or not Iago. Boo doesn't do that. Infidels, you have touched the forbidden treasure. Now you will never again see the light of day. And with that, well, yeah, we're running into the hardest level of the game.
Yeah.
I turned the system on, so that's good. Okay, so it's working for you, ElecVerse, as far as that. So that's going to be the theme of this. Stuff we haven't known about this game that we love, the music, and elements of do-it-yourself fixing of video game consoles and devices. As we're trying to escape from the Cave of Wonders that is in flames and is collapsing. Yeah, we're in good shape for that, for sure. And definitely a good sign over there as well, so yeah, there you go. And by the way, don't hit those boulders, there's one to kill, but you were handling this very well.
Yep. Thanks. And I think I'm going to take the bottom route here.
Okay. Yeah, also doing what the smart thing is when the lava goes, because when that goes, if you touch it, it stops your jump momentum, so be careful.
That one you can bypass by just taking the hit, but yeah, the lava spouts are absolutely a pain in the ass.
Although one thing I'm noticing about this, I mean, well, I won't necessarily go into this yet.
And here's the end part of the stage, and let's see if I
All you gotta do is jump. There you go. And see, first try. Good job.
Yep, one shot.
There you go. So you said this is hard for the purpose of it, but yeah, you showed absolute skill. Great job.
Yeah, I almost never one-shot that.
There you go. The benefit of, the skills on the show, and you have it on record forever as we go into Rug Ride. This collection, the Disney classic games, is on my list to buy for Switch. Yeah, mine too. Feasible for that, or Xbox One. Because, yeah, it has all the stuff as we go to Rug Ride. Talk about what you love on Rug Ride.
Well, it has a lot to do with the music. Unfortunately, in order for me to beat this stage, I need to basically focus.
All right.
It's fun, but it needs a lot of focus.
Yeah, and then you can go into that as you go along. And in that case, I'll go into what ElecVerse is saying a little afterwards.
Yeah. All right.
You just pay attention to Genie's fingers.
Yep. I always like going into the middle in between.
Here's the smart way to play it.
Split fingers.
Yeah, that's where that comes in. It's like, oh, you gotta be careful. You can take either path that way, but yeah, be careful because it's getting faster and the wave is catching up to you.
Yep. Okay.
Of course, with this, you get to enjoy this wonderful music.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the hardest one there, but yeah.
That's the one that gets me the most.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the version of this that has the Super Nintendo version in it. Yeah, because they released well, it's DLC if you already own the collection, but then they added a new box set that has it. specifically that has that. Also, the health bar is glitching up. The reason for that is because we're using Game Genie. She has the Game Genie cheat that is...
it doubles the health.
Doubles the health. So what that does is it does glitch out elements of the graphics. She was just not able to go up that high. So that was the reason why.
Yeah.
Also, this is the only level where you do have the apple pieces, by the way, which is an interesting thing. 4 of those gets you 1 apple.
I seriously love the music for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, feel free to go into that when you're ready to do that as to why.
Yep.
It does create this great tension. Good job.
There we go.
So second try. Yeah, very good. Yeah, so just to go to that ElecVerse, that's the reason we're using the Game Genie, because it fits with Aladdin. That was a brilliant thought on your part for that. As we're going along with that. Yeah, we want to go into why you love Rugride now that you're able to relax a bit.
Yeah, so, I'm just going to lose the bonus round intentionally, except not because I'm not that good at timing that one.
Okay, actually, one quick question ElecVerse has for that. Is that path for that randomized?
No,
I don't think it is. It's set.
It's set. So really, if you have it memorized, you can actually just navigate. You could technically play that level blindfolded if you had the exact timing down for everything.
Right, and in that it's kind of like the minecart level in Pitfall of the Mind Adventure, as we were inside the lamp, but you want to go into stuff on Rugride before you celebrate the lamp.
Yep. So, yeah. Well, the actual level for Rugride, I'm not so crazy about, because it's kind of a pain in the butt. But
yeah.
If you fail on it enough times, you'll actually automatically be advanced to this level.
I think it has something to do with collecting the lives, because she was at max lives. It doesn't show the lives anymore for the purpose of that.
Yeah. But there are a lot of lives scattered around that level if you're if you're not already at max.
Yeah, absolutely. So in some ways you can kind of come up with a net balance for that. That's an interesting idea of them randomizing that, because as far as like the idea, because I know that Disney Classic Games Collection has other versions of this, including one that I think makes bug fixes. I don't think they change anything like that, or they don't do what Rare Replay does in the Xbox One, where they give you the turbo tunnel from Battletoads. They have an infinite one. And there's an achievement tied to that, and it's insanely hard to get, as you'd expect, for the purpose of that. But yeah, that's the idea of it. I think as far as the stuff with the music with Rugride, yeah, I know you were saying something to me about that.
Yeah,
for that.
So, there are so many things I love about the music on Rugride.
Mm-hmm.
But the highlights, I would say, would be the instrumentation. Like, it legitimately sounds like a MIDI orchestra.
Yeah.
With distinct instruments, not just a generic orchestra sound.
No, absolutely. And I guess that goes to, as I said, what Don Griffin and Tommy Tallarico did with the score, which is amazing.
Yeah, and the other major highlight about the music on Rugride is the fact that it constantly feels like it's accelerating, even though it maintains a steady tempo.
Right, which is impressive that way. You think like, hey, it would speed up, because actually the boss music speeds up if you keep going along, but in this case, like, that doesn't, but still creates that great element to it. Do you think we'll get other 90s Disney games, or do you think other 90s Disney games will get a re-release? I mean, we went in this last week sort of with Tetris 2, in the sense that there was stuff that was getting re-releases that we wouldn't expect. I mean, even this collection, or the collection that has this, the Disney Classic Games collection, which is, initially was Aladdin Genesis and both versions of The Lion King, actually a couple other ones. I think there's the Game Boy of this, the Game Boy Color version, I think, of this, and the Game Boy version of The Lion King, and then they add the Jungle Book to it. I would think maybe the thought is that, some companies would want to go to this. And with Aladdin, I get why they wanted to re-release this, and then they add the Super Nintendo game to it. I would think that feasibly there's the thought, because maybe there's the idea, and I'll go into this specifically. I remember, I mentioned the Some Call Me Johnny channel on this show a lot. He did a donator marathon of a bunch of licensed games, and he kind of was saying hey, he kind of doesn't think that maybe it's worth going into some of them that much because of the thought hey, they're not going to ever get modern re-releases. But I'm also thinking that, we've been on a good run of some of this stuff recently, and some of them have those good memories, like this one. I mean, this was the third best-selling game on the Genesis, so clearly that's a reason why they'd want to re-release that. But as we mentioned, everything needs to be old as new again, so I think it's not a bad shot. What do you think?
Yeah.
If you want to feel that too.
I'm sorry. I actually was. Wasn't paying attention there for a sec.
You'll get used to that, or you'll get a better case of that. But anyway, the point is that for this, he's saying, do you think we'll get other 90s Disney games in a re-release case of that, or not?
It would be cool,
mm-hmm.
but I'm not totally sure how likely that is.
I mean, I think it's more likely maybe than you think, because actually one thing, as we're also in the lamp, by the way, and we're seeing column A and column B, so that's a great attention to detail. Because the Sega Genesis Mini 2 unit is coming out in October 27th as it is. And one thing about the first one is that Sega did go back to Disney to get the rights for Castle of Illusion and World of Illusion. Maybe the thought is, they haven't announced this, whether they put this on there. It'd be feasibly they'd have to go to Disney for that. They'd have to figure what the Virgin Games Connect is. I guess go to the people who released the Disney Classic Games Collection for that, to maybe put that on, because the thought hey, it's a big deal for the Genesis. So, the chances might be more likely than you think, but I mean, we never really know, I guess. But if nothing else, I guess maybe some people hear stuff on our show or other places saying, hey, a game like this should be able to get re-released and, go into that direction to make it happen and rationalize the money. Clearly that's what happened with that Disney Classic Games Collection. People must have bought that where they said, hey, we want to have the Super Nintendo Aladdin game and the Jungle Book game. So they went to Capcom for the Super Nintendo one and Disney again, feasibly for that, and then also for Jungle Book. So, yeah, not bad. October 27th, yeah, the day after my birthday. Yeah, you mentioned your birthday is for October 26th on a couple of the shows earlier. But yeah, it is coming out then, so a nice birthday gift feasibly for that. It is about $100 so bucks, a little bit, but as I mentioned before, I think I mentioned the Genesis Mini 2 to you, have I not?
I think you mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah, which also has Sega CD games in it on top of the stuff. They still have more to announce, as it's been. But yeah, they're releasing it. Okay, again with this thing with the screen going out, although...
I think I died.
Oh, actually, here's the funny thing. I'll say this. Well, I was looking on the... sorry about that. That was not her fault. The screen went out. Actually, it looks like on the video it's not showing that. And we're running the RetroTINK 5X. I had that happen, actually, when we did Mad Maestro on PlayStation 2, and I wasn't using this before I had it. But, yeah, so it went blind. So we got blinded for some reason. I don't know why. So, yeah, I might also want to do some tests on my copy of the Wing at home to see what that's running like, and if that's the reason. But yeah, to go back to the Genesis Mini 2 case, it is October 27th that comes out. It's going to have, I think, over 50 games, so they said. They have announced everything, but there's other ones that might be on the way. Who knows? Maybe we'll go to Disney and get this one. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily put it out of the realm of possibility. When you're the third best-selling game on the system, I would think that's a big deal to make some of that stuff happen. And as I said, something like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection is coming out next month. You'd think that, oh yeah, now if people buy that, they'll say, yeah, we license this stuff.
Yeah. Also, you see the tiny hands that I'm on?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the large hands that you can jump on, in the stage, in some capacity, will change size to very tiny, and you cannot jump on them when they're very tiny.
Mm-hmm, but some you can, like this one.
Well, this is the smallest hand in the stage, and there's only one of it that you can actually jump on.
I like the look there, is like you have Aladdin's feet, he's standing on nothing as far as his left foot there.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like, it is the world of magic here as far as the lamp with all the stuff in the back, like the CRT television and the Model 1 Genesis as it is.
Yeah, also, let's give a shout out to column A and column B.
Yeah. Yeah, try some of column A and try all of column B. Yeah, weird enough, I also went through this entire level without singing the music, which is amazing that way. But yeah. Yeah, he's on the job, you big name Bob. You ain't never had a friend, never had a friend. There you go, and you go in the mouth.
Yep, Genie eats you.
Yeah, remember, as far as the movie's concerned, one of the provisos and the quid pro quos of wishes. They are, rule number 1, I can't kill anybody. So don't ask. Rule number 2, I can't make anyone fall in love with anyone else. Mwah! Rule number 3, I can't bring people back from the dead. It's not pleasant. I don't like doing it. Don't make me do it! Other than that, you got it. Yeah, I love the movie for sure. I mean, as if it's not obvious, we both do, for sure. So it's almost like when you see stuff like that, it's like it just sticks in your mind that way, you know. As we're going to the Sultan's palace, actually, one thing I do want to go. Do you want to go into anything specific as far as this level as we go along?
Just the fact that it's one of those rare side-scroller levels that starts you going to the left.
Mm-hmm.
An interesting thing to note is that when you first start this level, actually, I'll just deliberately die for a sec.
Okay.
It starts you facing right, like you're in a normal right-moving stage.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a wall right there. A wall you cannot get past. Therefore, the only way to move is left.
So it does have a little bit of a trickery to it as far as that. Yeah, because one thing I did want to go back to. I like first. I know we played Kingdom Hearts because that was the last time we went into elements of Aladdin because we're in that world. You said something that I kind of wasn't completely sure because I hadn't had a frame of reference on that specifically. You said because in that game, Genie was not voiced by Robin Williams, despite the fact he was a huge video game fan. The only thing he was involved was I think there was this Disney activity series on the PC that was of this movie that had him in it, but that was it.
Yeah. Also, I just despawned Diago.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know you could do that. Yeah, Aladdin was my favorite Disney movie for the longest time. Yeah, it is definitely a very good one. But one thing you mentioned as far as that is that Dan Castellaneta, who voices Genie in Kingdom Hearts and on the TV show and in Return to Jafar, the idea of him being a little more of a fatherly case to Aladdin than Robin Williams, feasibly. I saw Return to Jafar specifically, as well as Aladdin the King of Thieves, and Nocturne, feel free to jump in on any opinions you have on those. For Return to Jafar, I did kind of get that. I mean, he's not in the movie much, honestly, so that's kind of a bit of a question, but I get what you're saying as far as the idea of that parental perspective of how Castellaneta's voice provides that. Oh, nice jump up there. Yeah, it was until Hercules took it over for me as an adult. Okay, so then the shifting case of favorite Disney movie. What would you say, Nocturne, is your take on that?
Favorite Disney movie?
That's a tough one, because there's a lot of good ones, I would say.
Like, I honestly can't say. But
too many, right?
I do have favorite... I do have favorite parts of Disney movies. For example, Be Prepared.
Oh, from The Lion King?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll definitely get to that when we play the Lion King game at some point. That's definitely a good one. To answer that question, I would say probably Beauty and the Beast is probably my favorite one, but I love this one as well. I would say probably my worst one is The Rescuers. I hate The Rescuers. The original, but not the remake, the second one, The Rescuers Down Under. I like that one very much. You ever see that?
Yeah. I know I've seen at least one of them, but I can't remember which one.
Uh-huh. But it's always the question, sometimes people say, like, hey, they remember the original one with the girl in the 70s in the swamp, as opposed to when they go to Australia for the second one. Yeah, in my case, I like first, like, Hercules another shot. If you ever want to see the Hercules game, why did you not kill him?
He was not in the explosion, actually.
Oh, so it's ranged.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that. I was going to say, I owe that movie another shot, because I was not big on it, but as I said, it's been a while since I've seen it, so, I'm willing to give another look as far as it specifically. Speaking of Beauty and the Beast, I just watched that recently. Yeah, it's one I saw growing up, but it's one that when I saw it years later, I kind of said, I get the sense I took this movie for granted, and that's never happening again. So, in that case, that idea of it for me that way. And there are games based on that, too. I was telling you about some of those. There's one on Super Nintendo that's by the people who made Batman Forever, actually, and I hear there's some issues with platforming the same way that does. There are two that some
fun thing.
made.
Fun thing, once I kill these guards... Also, drop some pants.
Yeah, just keep dropping trow, specifically. I figured why I don't like it. Oh, you're not a fan on Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, do tell. But yeah, go on to what you're saying.
So, once we're past those Iagos, I'm going to just stop pushing buttons.
All right.
And once Carpet drops us off, we're going to see an interesting little graphical bug.
Yeah, which I did not notice actually until you did it today for the test.
Well, or not? What?
Okay, that is different.
He kind of yeeted me off to the side. I've never seen that happen.
Okay, so you showed one. Just like what glitch you showing? Like that's not the one she meant to show, but it's one that you still showed no matter what. So in that case, I've been loving how this playthrough's been going. Yeah, we'll see this again, but yeah, if she doesn't touch buttons, feasibly shouldn't be pushing her off the platform.
He's
still doing it.
I don't know why this is happening.
Okay, I mean that's weird. We did it during our test play, I believe. So actually,
like we could just take footage from that.
Yeah, feasible. Well, yeah, see, or to quote the movie, he can be taught or she can be taught. As far as that, in this case, you're doing exactly what I do, which is I'll put the edit for showing that glitch. If we can't show it, I'll wait to that. But if we can't, I will put a case of what that's all about. Specifically, let's say.
I'm just gonna jump this off this.
Then alright, I will put the edit for that in a couple days here.
But yeah, the glitch is that he keeps his idle carpet flying animation after he's been dropped off on the platform, because I think it's because Carpet deposits him directly onto the platform. Carpet, just take me up there.
You're just kind of going, I guess, all around, and that is automated, yes?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
It's a fixed path.
Okay.
But I can still pretend to be yelling at Carpet. Also,
okay, that's cool. I'm glad we caught that, so feasibly, as I said, editing fodder of look at a glitch you sometimes noticed.
I think it's just like a small graphical bug.
Oh, you're not even holding the D-pad down. I thought you were still holding down.
Because it will do this anytime a Carpet deposits you directly onto a surface, as far as I know.
Okay.
Not when Carpet drops you onto a surface, but when you're deposited directly onto the surface, like Carpet does here. Mm-hmm. I believe that triggers this. Okay,
well, it is cool just looking at it, the sense of, okay, you're standing there, kneeling there, and it's almost as if there's a breeze in Agrabah. Yeah, I think so. Okay, yeah, the reason for this is I feel that the romance between Belle and Beast is forced, and Belle seems like she's developed Stockholm Syndrome in regards to that. And I've heard that read on that picture before, so I kind of get it. I mean, it's not necessarily a wrong way to look at it. I don't know, what do you think on that? For,
You mean,
for Beauty and the Beast. The idea of this, is it feasibly a forced romance necessarily to you? Or would you say that's a problem?
I can see both perspectives, but I personally prefer to ignore both and just enjoy the damn movie.
Well, no, I mean, but then remember, what do we do on the show? We have to go deep into the guts of stuff. But I mean, for the purposes, because I love the movie because of some of the deep stuff, and I think with the relationship, I mean, I know where you're coming from as far as that ElecVerse is concerned, but I mean, to me, I think, yeah, you could say that, but in some ways, it's not necessarily that. I don't know. I think that even as a kid, something seemed off. Yeah, I mean, maybe, but I mean, compared to maybe other stuff that does that worse, I think it's done better. I think in some ways, because the character's so well drawn while you're, killing Iago, just throw the apples at him and he's going to be cut up.
Yep. Bye bye, Iago.
Speaking of things that might seem wrong, but yeah, maybe the thought also is that I think the character's so well drawn, in that case, there is a little bit of a nervousness, a thought that, okay, fine, Beast was, wronged himself to that. He kidnapped her, or fine, his father. She said, like, I'll take it, I'll free my father, and I'll stay. And then the thought of, she's realizing that, okay, he could feasibly have done something horrible to me, he decided not to, and she's saying, wait a second, maybe there's something to that. And even him saying, like, yeah, there's no way in hell anybody would like me or have this connection. And you kind of see that very quietly shown in the Beauty and the Beast scene. It was, like, kind of getting a sense of, like, nervous at the dinner that way. So in that case, I felt it... I get the read of it, but I also felt that I don't think it necessarily felt off to me compared to, I guess, other stuff where I'd say that, or it felt... But I know, I mean, the other way I guess you could feasibly put this, because a lot of Disney animated stuff tends to be based on other, stories, because, hey, Aladdin's based on Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, a lot of stuff with, like, the Tales of the Arabian Nights, Little Mermaid, as well as Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale. So you could say that, hey, that's baked into that specifically. And the question of, okay, how do you feasibly make that into a case where it's not a problem? Definitely interesting thing that maybe they spend some time apart and not have Belle a prisoner. Maybe I could see it. I mean, yeah, I could get that too. I mean, I don't know necessarily how some of the sequels do it, because I've heard some of the sequels tend to do it worse, specifically, but I haven't seen a couple of them, as we are actually at the last level of the game.
Yep.
But we don't have, this is not going to be the end of the show that quickly. Actually, given that, I'll tell you, not sure I'll say this, the Game Genie in some ways almost sounds like it's like a life insurance policy in the sense of, in case something goes wrong, but honestly, nothing's really been going wrong for you. You've been handling this game really well.
I would have run out of apples multiple times.
Yeah.
And not had them when I need them.
That being said, I mean, even still, it's like, yeah, you haven't even died, even in cases where that wouldn't have made much of a difference, you haven't necessarily died a lot, either.
Yeah. This is actually, this run has actually been better than most of my practice runs. So... I shouldn't speak too quickly, though, because we still have Jafar.
That being said, if you beat the Cave of Wonders escape on your first go, I mean, is this really going to be that harder?
Oops.
I'll find that will.
And now we start over from the beginning of the stage.
But hey, it's the last level, so I get that idea as well. Yeah, my point is you've been playing this game really well, and as I said, the idea of, the test play. And how many times also have we said also this, which is the idea of the recording curse or not, where you think you might not do well playing a game live, but then you do really well. Actually, that's been you, actually, with everything you've played for the show so far, which is this and Mega Man Legends.
Yeah, I do not normally play this game as well as I am right now.
Well, I mean, yeah, for all everybody else knows, yes, you do. So, there you go. And sometimes that's how it works. And I've run into that case, too, where... Actually, I remember Animaniacs, the Super Nintendo version specifically. I beat that game in an hour and 15 minutes. I was like, okay, why am I doing this well? Why did I do that well? I was like the shortest show I think I ever did, specifically. So, it's one of those things that sometimes the practice can help for something like that and get you into the right mindset a little. I think also because you know so much about this game. I mean, even as difficult as this game is, you probably have most of it memorized, even the tough parts. By the way, also, the up slash. I don't know if you mentioned what that was.
Yeah, this is just when you're pressing up while slashing with the sword.
Which is, it was useful, actually. In fact, I tend to use it a lot when I'm actually in the last of the Sultan's Palace. Specifically, especially if you're running the hard mode on this, you definitely want to use that. So in that case, it could be very useful for that. Actually, the idea is that I think you stay in that animation for like a couple seconds. Is that right?
Yeah.
So in that case, you kind of use it. Well, you hit the checkpoint, so perfect.
You can immediately walk out of it. You can immediately walk out of the up slash animation, but if you don't, that was from one button press, not even holding it.
Right. So you feasibly use that. The other thing, I guess, that's maybe... Okay, there you go. You do get to see Shiva throwing something at you. And you can also reflect those with the sword as well. Yeah, the sword... People love the sword in this game for a reason. Not only is it fun to slice things, it also has nice utility. And you're also showing the idea that, you can reflect stuff with it.
Whoops. I should not have picked that up.
Oh. Oh, right, for the health. I was like, wait a second, you seem like you handled that right, but as you said... Because of the way the Game Genie's running, you don't have... when you pick up health that way, it just goes back to what it normally is.
Yep. And I don't need the health that's up there, so I'm actually going to ignore it.
It's also hard to do stuff with the health that way, or get the health up there, because it's very specific how you have to kind of slice the enemies that are up there, from what I saw you doing and what I played myself in the game.
So he did get hit, but he takes 2 hits to kill.
Okay. Oh, okay. So all right. So then it's not just an instant kill. I thought it always was.
No, it does 1 hit's worth of damage.
Okay. All right. So actually, that explains it. I was not aware of that.
The time before he didn't get hit at all, I still needed to hit him twice.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But that time he did get hit once, by the thing, and then I finished him off with the sword.
All right. Speaking of things you're gonna finish off, it's gonna be the game actually pretty soon. Oh, fine. To start, but then what we're gonna do, as I said, since you beat this thing as far as the Game Genie is concerned, we're going to turn the console off, which we can with the Retro Sync, so don't worry about that. And we're gonna have the music showcase and anything else showcase you want to go into, chat or you.
Yep. And
yeah, just slash Iago. Like 20 of them are fine. Not 20. There's a lot of them. And here is Jafar, the villain of the movie. Yeah, how do you handle him?
You basically just pelt him with apples. I don't think I have quite an...
You're taking the good route as far as taking care of his snake form.
No, almost. I didn't have quite enough health.
Yeah, almost. But, that being said, yeah, you're pretty good shape. I mean, yeah, so far, I mean, I think you've been doing a great job with this one. That's also why I had her play it. I knew she could do this. Which I guess is good to some degree, the idea that, as I said, I don't want to necessarily bogart every game we play. If somebody says they want to show a game off and they want to play it, I'm like, okay, sure, go ahead.
Shoot.
Okay, we got to show this at least. So it looks skeletal. We're seeing other glitches, so that is part of the Game Genie specifically, but yeah.
I don't know whether that's actually a Game Genie specific bug.
I don't know, either way, you killed him in record time. Yeah, so an hour and 25 minutes, we were done with the game already. Sort of, but not quite. So good job there. Great job that way. And as the Console Wars program once said, yeah, the ending of this is basically just Jasmine and Aladdin make out. But there you go. And I'll put a link to that episode, because actually they do have a new episode they dropped today about Spider-Man and Venom separation anxiety. I've not seen it yet. I actually never played those games. I don't know if you have yourself. No. You haven't? Okay. I'm going to be curious to see which one they say for that. But yeah, that is Aladdin for the Sega Genesis in record time, but we're not done with the show yet. That being said, I don't know, do you want to do final thoughts now, or do you want to wait for that as we go along?
I'm sorry?
Do the final thoughts on your take of the game.
Yeah,
you went through it really quick, though.
Yeah, I actually wasn't expecting to beat it in less than, like, an hour 45 to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was just having fun playing through it, so...
Yeah.
I did not mean for this to end up being so short, actually.
As I said, the show is not over yet, because what we have is... Actually, this also... I'll tell you, this also helps that question we're saying about the hissing of the audio. We can rationalize this perfectly. It's like, yeah, by finishing it quickly, doing a great job with that, thank you very much for that, we can just do the turn off of the console and set the game itself without the Game Genie. Or are you seeing something else that you want to maybe... Because remember... What is the element as far as Aladdin when it comes to this movie? What he always does as far as a street rat? He's like, what are you going to do to take care of him? Do what I always do. I'll improvise. I did see you looking into your box of Sega Genesis games feasibly before that, but I know we're going to show the Aladdin things that...
Oh, of course. We're going to do... I think it would be a shame to end this even after 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If
there's not a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually that's how we tend to run the shows. That we're not going to necessarily pad the show exactly, but is like if we get a case like we can't show stuff off more, that would be one thing. But either way, it's like we have a lot of options, and yeah, give you what did you say when we played Donkey Kong Country? You said I said it's never going to be money for that. You think like value for your time? I believe you said yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit, but first, when the credits go off, we will do that. Okay, so yeah, I like the way you're thinking, and that's also the other thing that even though we are going to say we're going to show a game off for a show, and we're saying like, yeah, we'll do this, no question. Sometimes the thought is like, hey, if it's a case like that, what can we do to wrestling? It's what happened about a month ago when I did Donkey Kong Country. I said, well, it's just Sonic Origins. Let's go into that. Why not? we got to fly, but we're sort of going to fly a little bit. But first of all, with that, is we have the shot of Iago. Yeah, you really shot through that quick to it. Good job that way. I'm turning the Genesis off. Don't worry, it is not going to have a case of what is it? Feed cutting.
Yep. So to start with this post-game thing, we're just gonna remove the Game Genie because for some reason the Game Genie seems to be what causes the buzzing.
Maybe, as I said, also you have the Model 2 unit. I'll see what my Model 1 is, but it's on the 32X, and as I mentioned to you, I'll mention this as well, I had weird stuff when I was playing this this past week. As far as it. Also, one thing I think I'm going to do is... Yeah, chat, let us know if there's a case where the audio is too loud or something, and we'll adjust it. But, yeah, we want to go into what element we're talking about here.
So, yeah, this time we're loading the game in its normal state to go into the sound test.
Alright.
Now, we can access the sound test normally anyway while the Game Genie's attached, but I wanted to minimize the risk of having the buzzing sound in the back.
So actually, in that case, it's kind of a good, element to that, honestly.
So yeah, whoops.
Yeah, you have to hit the C button, I believe it is?
A button.
A button, okay.
So yeah, you get to test all of the sound effects. Silent Lamb seems to be literally just a silent sound effect.
Okay.
I don't know what it's supposed to apply to. I really don't.
Maybe that Final Cut version in the Disney Classic Games collection is something for it. I mean, we'll do that eventually. When we touch the Super Nintendo game, we'll add more to that and look at the extra stuff for this one on top of it. You get to hear the great music again. Yeah, I feel like I talked over a lot of what you were going to say as far as that music, so just let it all hang out, Nocturne, for that.
Yep. So, yeah. Just because it's a fantastic sound effect.
Yeah, Jafar's laughing. Also, we will show off getting the game over, by the way, just because. But that'll come a little later. You get to listen to all this wonderful music, and it is wonderful. Yeah, it's just good, isn't it, yeah? You get to live all the memories of the movie and also of our play of this game as it is. As we go along, feel free to go into anything you want to say about this.
So, not really much to say just yet, but, just the tracks in this game that are drawn straight from the movie are completely on point. I think we already mentioned that, but it deserves to be said again.
I think it also deserves to go into what you were saying, like the deep musical knowledge, the deep, mechanical, exploration of the one we were doing off screen, because I think you have a background on it a little bit, and I think it's worth going into if you would like.
Like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but it's, like, the... despite being chiptunes on the Sega Genesis of all things, there is so much nuance to every single track in this game. With one exception that I'll get to later.
Okay. But you're hearing it right here with one jump ahead, where you're saying, and you said this, the way they're kind of setting up, like, the harmony backgrounds of the song and kind of matching where the lyrics would be.
Yeah, like, the songs capture everything from the original songs in the movie. Which is impressive, really, when you think about it. And as you're saying, the Genesis thing, because also, I don't think we've actually mentioned this explicitly on the show. The GEMS audio driver, I've mentioned to you what that is. It's a sound tool that was tended to be used for a lot of developers on the Genesis. A lot of the American developers tend to use it. And the thought is that there are a lot of games that they sound similar with some of their sounds, honestly. Actually, if we do stuff with the Sega Club trilogy that we're going to be thinking, or like showcases of some of those things, a lot of them use that, and sometimes it sounds like kind of samey to some degree. Not so much with this one, because Tommy Tallarico knows exactly how to handle that. I also just remembered that Cristina Vee did the voice of Noah Vermillion from BlazBlue and did a cover of A Whole New World. Really? I'd be curious to hear about that.
Yeah, because we were talking about that when we did a little bit of BlazBlue to start. At some point, we're definitely going to go back to that franchise. We're going to start with BlazBlue Calamity Trigger. I have the PS3 version. You play BlazBlue?
I haven't really played it. I mean, I touched on it a little bit. Like, I picked it up a little bit, but...
No, I got you for sure to that. So people have that. So that'll be the idea that... Oh, you have the link. Thank you, ElecVerse. Appreciate that. It'll go in the link list for the purpose of that. So, alright, so you've seen it sort of tangential to a certain degree. But yeah, we did play a little bit of that. We played the Continuous Shift Extend for our fighting showcase last year. Yeah, the original video was deleted, but here's the cover. Okay. Oh, the cover song. Awesome. Alright, thank you. Appreciate that. That goes to, I guess, the idea of this, as we were mentioning, just how much this music has kind of got the connection with people of the movie, but also the game, which is pretty awesome that way. And of course, New World. So I like that they just call it New World instead of Whole New World. Like, yeah, it's a new world. Or to go to the Pokemon take, it's a whole new world we live in.
Yeah, I think they probably just shortened the title, but from some character limit.
Maybe. That would make sense.
If you look at the width of the various sound effects and track names, there is a maximum length that they have. Yeah,
which makes sense. So I guess the idea of economical development, usually, which makes sense, honestly, for this. And to think that with that, because I don't think the cart size on this is that massive. I'll put an edit here as far as how big the cart size in this game is, in terms of megabits. But within that, they do a really good job with getting it all in and making it feel like, yeah, they're not skimping.
And, now, we're just going to listen to Rugride play just normally.
Yeah, so at this point, I think you can just go into exactly what you want to say about it.
So, yeah, like, Rugride just... I just love the way it builds here at the start, and then it just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I just love the way the various MIDI instruments actually sound quite a bit like the real-world equivalent.
Yeah, as you mentioned, sometimes with some older systems you might not get that, but when you have people who know how the sound drivers work... I mean, just we played Streets of Rage is another one where it was Yuzo Koshiro did the music for that. He knows how to run the different drivers. He didn't use the gem stuff. Tallarico did, but he knew how to operate it on top of Koshiro as far as it. And when you got that case, it sounds almost like real instruments, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and like this particular song manages to have a dark tone while remaining incredibly light on its feet with all those fast-running passages.
Mm-hmm. Which is pretty impressive that way, to get that sense. Also, she does covers for a lot of other songs, including the theme of Teen Titans. Okay, that'll be interesting. I've heard some of Cristina Vee's voice performances as it is, but I did not know her vocal talents as far as singing. So that's interesting. Okay, and that's just one. Actually, feasibly, there is a game based on Teen Titans we could play. It's on the PS2, and I don't know if it's on the GameCube. It's also on the Xbox. It's insanely rare on the Xbox. It's like a $300 game, I think. On the PS2, it's way cheaper, so I think we just run the PS2 version, I believe, if you'd ever want to be involved with that or see it.
Maybe.
Because I've actually never played it specifically as far as I thought it was okay, I guess. But that's also the idea, like, certain things come up, like, hey, covering stuff with licenses. Actually, ElecVerse will tell you when we do the scheduling at the end of the show, there is going to be a case of the game we're doing in 2 weeks that I said I'm going to replace Streets of Rage 2 with. We'll do Streets of Rage 2 in December, talking about another game with amazing music out of the Genesis. But you're going to like, I think we're going to do it in 2 weeks, I will tell you that right now. But I'll keep you in suspense to the end of the show.
Yep.
Yeah, just keep enjoying everything with the atmosphere and music. And that's the thing, the atmosphere this game creates.
Oh, yes.
Music. It feels like, we're going into the Cave of Wonders, going spelunking in the cave as it is. Which is interesting the way that it just creates that.
Yeah.
On top of everything, it seems like this game, and maybe I'm sort of setting up my final thoughts on this, just the atmosphere that it creates, it just feels like, you feel like you're playing this movie, but you also feel like you're going into the areas that the area that the levels and the setting of it is round. Which is a tough thing to say. You sometimes think, well, if you go back to older games, you're going to necessarily see that, but the answer is yes. People know how to develop, absolutely. And you can go back even further than the Sega Genesis and see that. But this is just the case of, I mean, as I said, there's a reason this game was the third best-selling game on the Genesis. It's not just us who adore this, for sure. I guess you do that one too. I can't find it. Yeah, don't worry, ElecVerse. I'll see if I can't dig it out, because remember, it's like, hey, for the editing case, I love that challenge, trying to figure out if I'm doing an edit on something, if I can find, you know, evidence of something or a video that way, and then we can point that out. For sure. Yeah, Camel Jazz.
Let's do Camel Jazz.
I know, this is seen as one of the best pieces of music in the game, and not for the wrong reason, and one of the original pieces of music in this game.
Yeah, Rug Ride and Camel Jazz are probably my two favorite tracks in the game, including the chiptune covers of the movie tracks. Which I think says a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The fact that you have this music that is original stuff that was made for this, that's in line with the movie music from Alan Menken and Tim Rice and the late Howard Ashman, that's quite a statement. And it said not just the idea that Disney was in connection with Virgin on this one and Sega who published it, but also that, you know, the way they did the music for this, the original stuff, it feels like something that could have been in the movie. And you don't always get that happening. So, yeah, there you go.
Alright, that's ready.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting, and I liked the idea of, yeah, don't worry, we will go into this. So actually, I'll tell you what this is. This is actually like when Proto-Rev was on the show last, when we said, like, hey, we finished Ocarina of Time, or find the end of it in about an hour, a little over an hour. So at that point, let's have a little more to the show to go along with it. She did it with Christine Marie Cabanos, who is Hotaru in the Viz dub of Sailor Moon. Okay. So it was kind of a duet case, and you mentioned that when we played Sailor Moon, the story as far as that with Sailor Mercury and Sonic the Hedgehog's Japanese voice performances, I believe.
Yep. Also, in one of the earlier stages in this game, if you remember the rope that we slide down, the only one in the game that's on a diagonal, for some reason they call this pole slide, even though it only plays on a rope.
Although maybe that's the idea. Maybe they had plans to use that on the poles as well. Because actually, one thing about the Disney Classic Games Collection, just to say this quickly, there is the version. There's like the demo that showed at E3. I don't know if it showed that part of the game. I don't think it did. I think it showed the genie level. But there's definitely some differences. As I said, when we get to a point where doing Aladdin on Super Nintendo, we'll definitely show that for the purpose of that. But you get to listen to all the sound effects on top of what you got going. You get the march going along with this, and it's great stuff.
I mean, it's hard not to love.
Make way for Prince Ali. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really hard not to love, like, all except maybe one or two tracks in this game.
But even then, we were saying this, and we'll get into them when we get to them. They're good tracks. It's just that the other ones are... I mean, like, the other ones are, like, some of the best pieces of music you ever heard. The other one's just not the best pieces of music you ever heard. That's really it. They're still good. It's just that they have to compare against that.
Yeah, it's kind of... I'm not sure how well this will register with people, but it's kind of like comparing different grades of Wagyu beef.
Okay.
Even lower grades of Wagyu beef are still effing Wagyu beef.
Yeah, actually, that actually has come up on the show before. When we played Katamari Damacy, actually it was Edwack who was in chat on that one who asked for that game, saying like, hey, we cooked that in our crock pot. Actually, I think I mentioned you to that. So like, hey, you're one who's into that. I was like, yeah, it costs a lot of money. But the idea is that, hey, you know, a cut of that, something that's really great. It's like, if you have the top of the line of anything, feasibly, whether it's that, whether it's music, whatever it is, but then it's like, it's still the same thing. To a certain degree, it's just like, which one do you like better? Or as I said earlier, it's like, basically choosing which one of your children do you love more, and you never want to get in that choice. Yeah. Whether you're a parent or not, you never want to make that choice, or the Faustian bargain, or the Sophie's Choice case. So that's really what it is, as far as the way the music of this game tends to be.
So yeah. And now I'm going to go back to the one track that I do not explicitly love from this game.
Was it up here? Oh, yeah, right.
Boss tune.
Yeah, boss tune. It is good. It feels like it's in line with what Aladdin is, but then again, I guess your case of why you're kind of not hot on this one.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel that this one doesn't fit as well thematically or musically as the other tracks do.
Okay. Also, keeping the genie theme perspective, Cristina Vee also is the voice actress for Shantae and sings the main theme song for Shantae Half-Genie Hero. Half-Genie Hero. We should definitely do something with Shantae for sure. You play any of those?
I haven't, but I've seen the game plan. It looks fun.
It is fun. I have the Game Boy Color version that's on the 3DS Virtual Console because, yeah, it's like $600 on the Game Boy Colors. Like,
oh yeah.
But it is on Switch, so actually they ported it that way. So we can show that one on top of the later ones. I've heard Half-Genie Hero, I think, is like one of the best ones. And it's always one that it's Way Forward who made those. People made another Disney case, DuckTales Remastered. Yeah, we should do some stuff with Shantae for sure. And thank you for the link, by the way. We'll put that in the link list as well.
Yeah. And let's just give some honorable mentions to the cutscene tracks.
Yeah. Which is part of the movie's soundtrack. So the idea that they kind of, I guess, got that in a little bit and said, like, okay, what's the best place to put that as far as the in-betweens on the stages? So, yeah, definitely something nice to that as well. It's all these little things that way, you know?
Yeah, like, these may not be, like, the standout tracks that, say, Rug Ride, Prince Ali, Camel Jazz, and all of those are.
Mm-hmm.
But these are still very, these all fit. These all fit really well.
I guess then those would be your top three: Camel Jazz, Rug Ride, and what was the other one?
Prince Ali. Honestly, I there's a fourth one there. One Jump Ahead.
One Jump Ahead. Yeah, feel free, chat, also to tell us what yours might be. I would say mine probably are Camel Jazz, as I mentioned. I'd say One Jump Ahead, and I'd probably say Arabian Night. But then again, it's like, as I said, how do you choose what your favorites are?
I mean,
it's so hard. Can I just say all of them, basically?
Like, they are separated by fractions of a degree.
Mm-hmm.
For me.
Yeah, me too. So in that case, that's that idea.
So it's really hard to say which ones I love.
No, I know. We love them all, and that's what the celebration of this element of the game is. And feasibly, I guess one other thing, because I guess we didn't go into this specifically before we go to the next game, and also final thought time before that for this. What is your take as far as the movies are concerned?
Like, basically just my opinions of the movies and stuff?
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, I mean, the last time I watched the movies themselves was years ago, but I honestly really love all three of the animated Aladdin movies.
Okay.
I haven't watched the live-action remake of the first one.
Okay.
But, I mean, I think I do want to watch all of the live-action remakes eventually, even the ones that probably aren't so good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, then again, is that sometimes you get the case of, this is not completely 100%. One of them I think is better than the original. That's the Pete's Dragon remake. But, I mean, yeah, my case, I would say I like the original and King of Thieves the most as far as it. Treasure Jafar, I think, is kind of just okay. And the remake, I think, is okay, sort of. I mean, as far as the live-action stuff, it's probably one of my favorites only because I think that I'm not huge on a bunch of them. Yeah. But, I mean, I would say that it's okay. It's not bad. Yeah. It's just too long. That's my big issue with the remake. It's a bit too long. And even what they add to it is, like, they don't do Jafar as well compared to this, element of the movie, or for this one anyway. And also, as we were talking off screen, the idea that for a movie that, or for the remake that's supposedly righting the societal wrongs, quote unquote, of the original, and you notice that if you ever watch any of the originals on Disney Plus, in some ways, Jasmine maybe has a little less agency to some degree in the movie. It's Naomi Scott, who was in the Charlie's Angels film a couple years ago. It's her. And it's fine. She has a new song that's okay for it, but there's also stuff that happened with Jasmine in this one, or in the Aladdin the animated one, that kind of are a little, I mean, it's interesting to compare and contrast, if nothing else. I mean, it's not a bad one. It kind of is following the original movie enough while not being the same one. So, in that case, it's not bad. I mean, it's probably worth a watch, I'd say. For the purpose of that.
I would say that the first and third ones are my favorites.
Okay. I love the music in the third one. Talking about underrated, I think some of those tracks, especially the opening one of the wedding or the party here in Agrabah, and then the Welcome to the 40 Thieves. Those are some really good pieces of music. I'll probably link to them just because I think, like to have people know, like, hey, these sound really good. Please link to the whole soundtrack of the movie. Why not?
Alright. So, with New World running, I think we're gonna
go on to something else. Before we do you want to also go into final thoughts on your take on Aladdin, the video game for the Sega Genesis?
Yeah.
You play with absolute plume, by the way. Actually, wait, one thing we got to do. I remembered. Do you mind if I take on for this one?
Go ahead.
We're gonna go out. We're gonna actually.
Oh, right. Yeah, we are going.
We're gonna run it on hard. I can beat this game on hard, but I'm not gonna beat it on hard. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna just kill Aladdin, unfortunately.
And then show the game over.
And you know what? I'll tell you. I'll do two things.
I think you might need to run out of continues as well.
I will. Sure. Yeah. I'll see. But actually, one thing I'll show. I'll show two things. I'll show you the stage skip code. It is ABBAABBA. When you pause, actually, wait, I did it wrong. There you go. You hear that? You skip to the next level. I have that one burned into my brain from years of growing up. Alright, what I'm going to do is, we'll die to the great music of Camel Jazz. How about that? Yeah, bury me in the desert, my friends. Yeah, find the scarab. We're not finding the scarab. We're going to end up just like Kazim did, dead in the element of that. You just keep walking. Actually, you know what? Fine, I'll also show the other thing we couldn't show before, because to see what that idea is.
It's very... there we go. Yeah. That can produce an extra life.
Fine, I probably shouldn't have gotten that for the purpose of this, but yeah, I'm just running through the desert. Yeah, he'll eventually get me and show, like, me being fanned off, but I was like, yeah, I do have some power in my corner now, or we do, for the purpose of that. Keep going. By the way, also, the difference between difficult and, normal and practice are, you get fewer apples. I'm going to start with 5. And when you die, you lose any apples you have, so if I have tons of them, they're gone. In that case, I'm just going to keep running and see what's going on. So at least we can get the sense of what this is, and if I do have to continue, just walk. In that case, at least I got to show that, but also, you know what? You know, fine, I'll show one more thing, quickly. I'm gonna make this appear again. Or maybe it does not appear. Because I want to test what you're saying, which is, can you make the other life appear? You know what, screw it. In the meantime, do you want to go into your final thoughts on this game while I get Aladdin killed?
Yeah, well, I think it's probably... No, definitely among the best Genesis titles that I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
Music, gameplay, and everything. There are very few things that I would say are bad about it, and those bad things I would also say are extremely subjective.
Right.
So things like there being no checkpoints on the escape from the Cave of Wonders, and even with that, I think that it's thematically appropriate for there to be no checkpoints on the escape from Cave of Wonders.
Yeah, that's a good point for that, for sure.
I may not like it from a gameplay perspective, but it is thematically 100% appropriate. It should be a difficult stage.
No, I get that for sure.
I kind of have a love-hate relationship with that stage.
No, I get that for sure. Yeah, you give up, Street Rat. Yeah, we are going to give up. That is your game over if you get a game over in this. It just freaked me out when I was a child. Oh! I didn't see that either. Okay, cool. So there you go. Just like the movie made you look. Awesome. So, perfect case of that. Yeah, before we go on to the next thing, I will say this. I'm with you entirely. This is one of the highlights of Disney gaming in the early 90s, and there's been a lot of that, as we mentioned before. Stuff like Castle of Illusion, stuff like the Super Nintendo game, which is different. I don't like it as much as this, but then again, it's still good, and we'll definitely show it. Don't worry, ElecVerse, we will definitely come to that. And actually, the next Disney game we're going to do is one I know you asked for. In November, we're going to play The Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse for the Super Nintendo. We'll do that for sure. But I think it's great. Graphics, music, audio, animation. It's fun. It's got a good challenge if you're going to be one to go that way as well. And it just you feel like you're playing that movie. It's up there for me with games like GoldenEye, which will show in a month, The Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay. I want to show that off eventually, and a couple of the ones I'm missing off of my mind at the top right now of that great music game. Awesome, thank you for sure. And they definitely are. It is a great game for sure. Yeah, no question as far as that for the stuff for the Quest. Actually, with Magical Quest, just to go into that, we're playing the Super Nintendo specifically. We're gonna do what we did with Castle Illusion for that specifically. We celebrated that game's 30th anniversary. We're doing it for Magical Quest as well because the Saturday that falls under, that does line up technically with the Japanese release for when we start the show at 7 p.m. on the Saturday for that one. That's going to be November 20th, I believe. But yeah, we will definitely do that and go into all our stuff for the Disney Capcom stuff. Like, hey, remember, what do we say on the show? Ask and you shall receive if you want to see a game on this. And Nocturne, that goes double for you as well. And in fact, she's going to actually do that for us right now, in fact. So in that case, I think we've done that. It was at the celebration of Aladdin. Bye-bye, Genie. Made you look.
Yeah, we will be doing... we do plan to cover this game, well, rather, this collection of games at some point in the future, but I thought it might be fun to give a bit of a preview.
Yeah, let's do that.
So...
In fact, of course, it's going to be you doing the honors as well for this, so, alright. So, boot up the Genesis. We can do that with this tech. I love that we can do that. So, yeah, what are we playing?
So, yeah, we will be playing the official... U.S. cartridge release of Mega Man The Wily Wars. This cartridge is number 4,818 of 20,000.
And I will put a picture, by the way, of that when we edit this in a couple of days. Also get the audio stuff going a little bit. Maybe also turn the game audio down a little. Just so it's not maybe blinding or audio... Well, sort of. We'll see. But yeah. So yeah, that is what we have. I mentioned this when we did Gunstar Heroes a couple months ago. Actually, like almost 6 months ago. I can't believe it's been that long. She said she has the Collector's Edition Mega Man The Wily Wars game. She wasn't lying. Ooh, I wasn't expecting this. You know what? I wasn't either. In fact, I don't know if even you were.
Well, I wasn't planning on it until I realized that we had finished the game and we hadn't even been going an hour and a half since initiating the stream.
Yeah, I've been playing this on the Switch. That's another case. Let's go with this, because this game came out in 1994 for the Sega Mega Drive in Japan and in Europe. It also came out on the Sega Genesis here, technically, because it was part of the Sega Channel. I don't know, I've mentioned the Sega Channel to you.
But yeah, this cartridge is actually produced by Retrobit, and it's a recent production.
Yes.
The cartridge actually comes with a certificate of authenticity and a bunch of other cool stuff, including like a poster, a special edition box. There will be photos. Yeah, there will absolutely be photos. Thank you, by the way, for that. They are probably here as we're talking. We're just going to keep going on that. I'll find a decent place to put it where it won't block the screen too much. But as I said, the idea is like, you know what, we'll show that for the purpose of... Yeah, but as we were saying also, the Sega Channel was downloadable to the Genesis specifically, but Capcom didn't do a physical release for the US for this. So what happened was that, this went unreleased here for years. So people bought reproduction cartridges. In fact, you bought... Yeah, I actually have 2 repro carts of this game. But the first one I bought didn't have a save battery built into it, so it was basically useless. And this game does have save. I finished Mega Man 1 yesterday. Yeah. And just to go into this quickly, for years it was reproduction card only. Then what happened is there was a portable Genesis unit that came out here that had it. Then the Sega Genesis Mini, which I have, which has it. And then this release, which Nocturne has, right here, as he's showing you, as far as that, which I believe it did do some updates on the ROM, and as ElecVerse is saying, this is on the Switch Online plus expansion pack. If you have it, you have access to this. They put that on about a month and a half ago, I believe. Yeah. So you have the ability to play it. Yeah, I'm personally not really willing yet to pay for the Genesis and N64 stuff. What is your case? Because I know we talked about this on the show. The idea is that the concern about the ways the emulation of some of that stuff is, the costs. I mean, it's mainly that I think the price, given their previous price point for the regular version of Nintendo Switch Online, I feel like the price increase is too steep.
And we've gone into that before. In fact, we went on that when it came out, and then also stuff as far as the emulation of it. To be fair, they've been adding more games, especially on the Genesis side. There's some pretty impressive gets they've been getting on that, specifically, that I think are helping a little bit. And the Nintendo 64 stuff, they're sort of fixing, but they also have cases where it's still breaking stuff they release. I mean, Kirby Crystal Shards, they initially released it with a bug that was not in any of the other releases. So I get that idea, but feasibly that idea of what it is, and I have it, so at least we can show anything for it. So that's the idea. So yeah, give us the tour of Mega Man Wild Wars.
So I have not gotten far in this game yet at all, but I thought if anyone has an opinion, I'm prepared to do a little bit of gameplay of Mega Man 2 or Mega Man 3.
Okay.
I'm really not good at Mega Man 1.
Well, to be fair, also, ElecVerse indicated that, hey, he finished Mega Man 1 within this yesterday, so that's that idea.
I only plan to get through maybe a stage or two, so...
Sure, I mean, a little bonus, but here's the other thing, we mentioned this before. We're going to come back to this game.
Oh, yes.
This is not going to be something that, we play it now and that's the end. We're going to absolutely show this game off, and as I said, I don't know... It's up to you how you want to handle this, and Nocturne, this one's all yours. Do we necessarily want to do... I think I told this to you, we'll go on this now. If you want to just start on whatever it is as we go along with this, you can.
So...
Or is there anything else you want to say for this?
Let's... You know what, let's do 3.
Okay. And you get your game selected of Mega Man 1, 2, and 3, which are here and updated with Genesis-style graphics and audio. Yeah, well, I was saying, her and I have been talking about this actually for a bit of time now. We're going to come back to this, but I don't know necessarily if do we want to play 1, 2, and 3, Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 using this, or do we want to alternate off between NES, or if we show bits and pieces of both?
I actually do have the game cart for Mega Man 3 on NES.
And I have the game cart of 1 as well, actually, as well.
I do think, I mean, I'm kind of tempted to say let's show off 2 on this collection, and later once we have everything, all 3 of the main games beaten, we then come revisit this at another time and do Wily Tower.
Okay, I guess then in that case though, how do you want 1 and 3 to be handled?
I'm thinking maybe you bring your cart for 1, and we do,
yeah, I think, do you want me to handle 1 or do you want to handle 1?
Yeah, probably better if you handle 1.
Okay. Yeah, there's going to be one of those, I'll do practice like Madman for sure in the case of that. Which is good that way, and it's like, hey, we got to do some stuff with hard games as well. We'll make that happen. And also, I mentioned to ElecVerse a couple weeks ago, or last week, I think, we'll do Contra Hardcore. I'll definitely make that happen next year. It's another one I'm going to practice my ass off on. But alright, so take us through Mega Man 3 in the Wily Wars game.
Yep. So, I do not remember what the, what a good order to go in this game, but I think I remember Needleman and Topman being decently easy. I
think that's what it was, because actually, no, I did do Topman, actually. That was with, the Cristina 64, who is going to be on the show next week for the next part of Majora's Mask. When this dropped on Switch, actually, I was doing the Switch demonstration day for it. Also a little bit of flashing light, by the way. But when we did that, I did go after Topman, and after a lot of struggle, I finally beat him. There was the idea of, discussion of difficulty, for sure. Yeah, there you go. You do have your elements of this. So yeah, anything you want to go in on Mega Man or Mega Man Wily Wars, do it. And yeah, this is all yours, Nocturne.
Honestly, I don't have as much attachment to the to the original Mega Man games as I do to the X series, Zero series, and Legends series. Oh, and EXE.
Yeah. And I think we're all going to be playing that next year when that Battle Network Legacy Collection comes out. I'll tell you that right now. Actually, no, I don't know if I asked you when we played Mega Man Legends. What was the first Mega Man game you ever played? Do you remember?
The first Mega Man game I ever played, I think, was Mega Man 8. Okay.
Which is definitely a good one to start, for sure. In my case, it was Mega Man X2, was the first one of any of them. The first one of these was 7. At some point, we're going to do 7 again, because I think it's worth doing 7 again for it. Talk about weird glitch cases. Okay, smart move. I did not do that. I just, jumped down. Was like, all right, fine. That's why you're also showing this element, and why this is the one you have as far as the NES case is concerned.
Okay, let's see. I don't really need either of these, and I can't actually get to the health pellets anyway, so we're just gonna pick up that weapon.
With the slide, which of course Mega Man 3 was the first one to have it.
Boy. And of course those are spikes.
Yeah, as is want in Mega Man games, don't touch those, you die.
Yeah, spikes are death. Like, you die instantly if you don't already know that. If anyone doesn't already know that. No,
that's fine. For the purpose of Let's Play, I think it's worth mentioning that. Actually, I always love the joke as far as, like, why. Some people say, like, why does he die on one hit with spikes? Some people say, like, hey, the spikes are kind of thing that the shoes he has, there's, like a one hole in it that just punctures through. They're, like, the one oversight, perhaps, that, Dr. Light maybe had. Or maybe Mega Man said, like, hey, wait a second, give me some new kicks, my friend. But he never does, perhaps. I don't know if that's not the canonical answer, I'll say that, but it's always a fun question, like, why is it? Or if they maybe have given the why. Chat, if you know if they've given the why, or Nocturne, you know, feel free to let us know.
Well, I don't actually know.
Yeah, probably not, but I mean, it'd be interesting if they did that.
Oops. Okay, apparently that does a lot of damage.
Yeah, it took half your health off. Okay, I did not expect that. Man, no, yeah, the big enemies like that, which 2 and 3 specifically have, they take your health off, and feasibly the 1-in-1, the jumping robot in 1 does that. But in this case, yeah, the massive sprite size. I guess then also just to go into this briefly, I mean, I guess predating when we go back to this, what would you say are your favorite games of, I guess, each of these series? And chat, feel free to jump on that. Hi, Cam D-Trag, Nocturne, did you pop in? Just popping in, did you finish Aladdin? We did. We finished it actually in record time. Good to see you tonight, Prorova. Nocturne finished in record time. Good news is that what is going to happen is at the end of the show tonight, it'll be uploaded to Twitch right away, and I'll edit in a couple of days. So you'll see the Aladdin play that she handled no problem. Did a great job with that. And so we were showing an extra.
Yeah, I think I beat it, like, the actual gameplay time was probably around an hour 15, hour 20.
Yeah, a little over that maybe. Around that. So, like, it's sort of a speedrun. So, like, I know, Proto, you mentioned interest in speedruns. So we inadvertently had a speedrun of Aladdin for Sega Genesis that way.
I mean, it was very casual, and if it were to be considered a speedrun.
Yeah, definitely so.
Like, I wouldn't personally consider it a speedrun.
Well, I mean, it is... Okay, fine. Alright, let's talk about that then. When you say what would you consider a speedrun, would you consider that, like, beating a specific time for it, or just going fast? Or playing specifically for that?
First setting a category.
Okay.
And no cheat device.
Okay. Well, technically... Okay, they did that again, but yet chat's not seeing that. The screen's going in and out. I don't know why that is. And we have the RetroStick 5X, so I don't know what's going on with that. We'll figure something out at some point. But, yeah, so okay. Keep going on that if you'd like to.
Hang on.
You always love seeing those big items there. Yeah, we said we did finish Aladdin already. We were taking a brief look at Mega Man The Wily Wars for the, well, fine, the Sega Genesis technically because of the Retrobit release that she has.
Yep.
Add a little extra to the show. It's something you don't expect. Something I don't think any of us expected, either one of us even expected until about, I don't know, about a half an hour ago.
Yeah.
I saw you eyeing that. I saw you eyeing her box of Sega Genesis games. Like, you're thinking of pulling something out. I was like, what am I gonna? What's going to be coming out of the box of fun that way? You know.
Yep.
And there's that one. I'd say my favorite of the NES Hexology is Mega Man 3. That's a good one. What do you say?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I have a soft spot for 6, honestly.
Yeah, and 6 is a good game. Yeah, in my case, I like 2, but honestly, here's the other thing. I haven't necessarily played as many of the NES ones entirely, but I do like 3, actually. The more I've played 3, the more I've really liked it. This one's really grown on me.
Oops. I did not time that well.
That's fine. As I said, this is more of a casual thing. This is talk about the improvisation, so it fits with Aladdin that way. As I said, what do I always say when it comes to stuff like this? We planned this show, I swear to God, although, yeah, we just kind of planned it right on a whim that way. My second favorite of the Hexology is The second one probably. Yeah, as far as I'd say, probably 2 and 3 to a certain degree. I would probably be my 2 favorites of those. I know, like, first I know you mentioned you love 7. I love 7 as well. I think 7 is fantastic. It's one that for years, yeah, I mean, people liked it. Then there's maybe the little bit of the backlash on it, but then I think years later, it's like, no, they really like it.
Yeah, my favorite game from classic Mega Man as a whole would have to be Mega Man 8. Mm-hmm. I adore that game.
Oh, Mega Man 6, that would be my second favorite. Okay, fair enough. Alright. Yeah, 8 is a good one too, for sure. And actually, when we show 8, we're going to show off the, at some point we're going to look into this. We want to show the Sega Saturn version off, but we're going to get the Japanese one, because otherwise we're going to spend like $700, $800.
Yeah.
And also, feasibly, we will not ignore the voice acting case. In fact, I think when we do that, we'll put in your PlayStation game just as well, because I think we do need to... We can't not talk about the voice acting of that game. It's so hilariously bad, and not recorded well in the sense that, hey, they didn't... they recorded it with, when there's a flub line, they'll keep it in. I mean, it's like Sonic 06, it's like Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, which, yeah, they're re-releasing Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Look, if we can get a re-release of that, we can get a re-release of the Capcom Disney games, or any other Disney game of era, I'll just tell you that right now. Otherwise, life isn't fair. But, at some point, we'll have to deal with Plumbers Don't Wear Ties anyway. But yeah, at some point, we're going to try and do the Saturn on 8. I like 8 as well. Honestly, 8 is one that... It kind of feels like something Treasure would have made, honestly, for me.
Yeah, like, I think... I kind of feel like 8 gets a lot of flack without really deserving all of it.
Uh-huh. I mean, it has a different feel as far as, like, the weight on top of, as far as, like, how Mega Man moves, how that is, but it's still something that I always was impressed with it, because actually, I did not grow up with 8. I played it first when the Mega Man Anniversary Collection came on the PS2. But I was taken by it. I mean, I bought that specifically for 7, because I knew 7 cost a lot even back then. I mean, less than it does now, but still. At that point, I was thinking, alright, what is this one? I was like, even with the voice acting being bad, I was still kind of impressed, as far as just the idea that they were doing it, number one. And just the idea that it really felt like they're taking what Mega Man did well with NES and Super Nintendo, and really enhancing it for 32 bits nicely. As far as how the feel of it is, and like the atmosphere. We talked about that with Aladdin, or even with this one. I think it did that really, really well. So in that case, I get that idea. Actually, technically, I guess here's the other thing. Would you necessarily count this as its own deal as far as Classic Mega Man? I mean, it's a compilation, sorta, but it also has its own thing with the Wily Tower mode.
Yeah, I mean... I think it's kind of both its own thing and a collection in one.
Yeah, which is unique when you think about that.
At least that's how I think about it.
I mean, technically, I agree with you that way, because sometimes it's the question of why necessary or anybody necessarily think about that right away.
I mean, in that sense, a game like Sonic Jam is also similar.
Sure. Yeah.
Although the museum in it is less about is less a game and more just an interactive environment.
It's also kind of a prototype, as I mentioned, for Sonic Adventure. We played that, which that was a good case as far as when we played that, as far as the last show you were on. But yeah, definitely interesting stuff for that, and interesting way to look at something like that. And same with this one. I guess it was surprising also the thought that Mega Man was known as a Nintendo franchise, because Capcom made them all on that. But then there was this Genesis version that some people maybe knew if they had the Sega channel. I mean, I don't even know if I knew the Sega channel even existed. And something that you had to connect to your cable box. Remember days of cable boxes from places? As far as cable companies, you connect that in with like the coaxial cable. And I'll have a picture of it if I have not put up on other streams, or just I'll put a picture anyway. And download this into your Genesis that way. But that went away. We didn't get a physical version. So that was the interesting thing with it. But yeah, I mean, you're right as far as like the thing with Sonic Jam too. As far as kind of blurring the lines of what that idea of a compilation and an original game is.
I mean, the original content I would consider Sonic Jam to have is the way that it lets you play the games in different ways.
And also the way they emulate the games, as we mentioned, we played it.
But yeah, it really is its own thing.
And I guess same with this one too. And it's interesting also, I guess from my perspective, someone who knows, like most people know the NES or the Nintendo perspective of Mega Man, so see Sega's is unique. And I also like the fact that the Switch Online expansion pack has it for people who have it, so that in that case you can experience what that's like. I guess that's fascination. Like, yeah, what was going on with Mega Man with Sega, including one that I don't know if I'd be able to show, and it costs a lot of money, and I don't know if you've actually played this one. The Game Gear Mega Man game. Have you, how familiar are you with that one?
I'm not very familiar with it.
I've never played it. It's by US Gold. It's a game that goes for like $300 now, I believe. It's not a cheap one. And it's kind of taken, actually like this, it's kind of a mix of Mega Man 4 and 5 to a certain degree, a little, but it's not 100%. I mean, it looks a lot like the NES games from what I've understood, but I get the sense that a lot of people in the fandom of Mega Man tend not to like it, maybe because, I don't know if there's technical things with it, or it just feels like, I don't know, for what Game Gear's doing, it maybe isn't as impressive as other translations of some, like, 8-bit games to that system. Like, compare something like Shinobi, because Shinobi on Game Gear is amazing.
Man, I am doing really badly.
Hey, remember, it's like, you're totally, just showing a preview for this game, so hey, it doesn't really matter. We just keep talking that way. There is this Mega Man game going on the screen, for sure, for that, so... And that's the idea. I'll say this as well. It goes to, I think, what I guess I didn't necessarily know I wanted to do with the show until years have gone, and also with you on the show and other people as it's been, which is kind of make this kind of relaxing, casual hangout where we also will show skill. I mean, as I said, she could feasibly speedrun, depending on your definition of that, is Aladdin, but at the same time, kind of just have this relaxing case, as like we were saying earlier, being able to unwind after a long week, after whatever it might be for that. And so even for a case of, in some ways it doesn't necessarily matter if you or me or anybody is necessarily not showing skill at a part of a game necessarily for the way the show operates.
Yeah, it's more about the love of the game.
It's the love of the game, it's also the explanation of it, and also just showing some of the weird stuff off.
Yeah.
That deep dive, to say we go into the guts of gaming that way, and that I think has been, I'll say this myself, and if you want to say what your take on this is as well, feel free.
Oh, shoot. I screwed up again.
It's not an easy thing, and it goes to what Mega Man is. Hard.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, maybe my favorite thing about this has been the fact that it's kind of turned into this. I said, I just wanted to start the show because I wanted to, I guess, have connections with people who like games, like older games. I'm focusing mostly at We Are, but anything you want to see, we'll do, don't worry. And it kind of became this great casual hangout, this idea that I look forward to doing this. I know you look forward to doing this when I'm able to, when we show up for this, for the two of us. And just to kind of go into it and do stuff that feasibly not other gaming streams are going to do, whether it's the games we play or we're going to talk about with it. And I like that it's become that. I thank you for making that happen, for actually you being the trailblazer in a way, because you were the first guest we had on the show, and now it's kind of gone to the point where actually, over the next 2 months, with the exception of the show we're doing in 2 weeks, every show is going to have a guest in it, including Pro over in the chat over there, and I've been in the chat as well. So it's kind of blossomed into this, I guess, as I mentioned, it's kind of a journey, and I've really liked that it's kind of become that a little bit.
Yeah.
For it is like, the idea is like, hey, what stream of Aladdin would say, oh, we finished this game in less than an hour and a half, let's put in Wily Wars, let's do it with this, limited edition version that she has to show it, and also to go into a lot
instead of a repro cart.
Well, hey, if you had to use a reproduction cart, we'll do that too.
Oh yeah, I have no problem with using a repro cart. It's why I got the repro carts in the first place.
Sure, and we played one when we did Sailor Moon of the Story. But but having something like that, and actually I have one that's like that, Zero Wing, which actually that is on Switch Online expansion pack as well, which I was amazed they put that up. Whoa. In that case, just wait.
Yeah, the ones that go up, you can afford to ride them.
That was the end of the level, so that was, that shows why it's hard, but alright, let's
let's see if I can beat Top Man with 2 lives.
Alright, let's do it. Alright, take him down.
Oop.
think you got a good system going down, though, for this. Almost.
One more hit.
I know, that is always the case. That was when I first played Mega Man X2. That's happened when I was fighting Overdrive Ostrich. I mean, not when we played it, but still, when I first played it, it was like, so close, that one hit. But yeah, you're driven. The same way we said with Aladdin. Yeah, you're not going to let the game beat you.
Oh, man, I don't think I'm gonna beat him. Oh, now yeah. No, this is not happening.
Yeah, these versions 1, 2, and 3 look and sound great. Yeah, they do, and actually, this goes to, I think, what you were saying when we did Gunstar Heroes, we mentioned this, that I think they built this a little differently. I think they did, like, enhancements on the ROM, and you saw them on the intro screen when it's showing the Retrobit logoing on it. I think they took the NTSC ROM for it, and I think they kind of enhanced it a little bit as far as how it is. And also, as maybe because we're running it with the RetroSync 5X, it looks really sharp. And the Switch Online version also looks sharp the way that's running still as far as it. But it's, as I said, the idea of getting that great picture quality and soaking up the look.
Yeah. Also, just this background.
Yeah, it's nice.
That looks really good.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's also interesting thinking about this, the idea of taking 8-bit games and making them 16-bit, which I guess you sort of saw a bit in the in that era with Super Mario All-Stars and also Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. Although I don't even know if Ninja Gaiden Trilogy was as good as this. Whereas that one looked mostly like the NES games, and it cost a fortune now, so at that point, you could basically buy the NES games, pretty much all of them, for probably cheaper, or buy a Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox and unlock them. Which is hard as hell to do, but when we get to Ninja Gaiden, I think that's how we'll do that. As far as the old ones. And then, I know, Protorov, I know you want to see Ninja Gaiden for Xbox at some point. We'll definitely do that. That's definitely on the master list for sure. That's a great game. What's your familiarity with Ninja Gaiden?
Not much familiarity, but I am aware that it's a difficult but popular game.
Yeah, feasibly more difficult than this, actually, if you could believe that.
Oh, I would believe it.
In fact, I would say probably more than Mega Man 1 and I guess 9, which would probably say the hardest of the classic stuff anyway. Yeah, it's harder than any of those.
These Mets are really annoying.
Well, that's the Met tools for you, for sure. I like the idea you said Mets. Like, yeah, somebody coming into the show is like, oh, you're fans of the New York Mets. It's like, okay. A lot of people do World Series baseball. Get stabbed. I said, hey, this is more just the show off of it, and just doing. And hey, the checkpoint's right there, so perfect. Hey, easier. So skip it. Yeah, okay, fine. Die there. It doesn't matter. I'm just respawning right past it. So okay, there you go. So yeah, there you go. That is. Yeah, sometimes that happens. And it can be fun. And that's why, as I said, I like the way the show is going. Because sometimes it's this very improvisational thing. And feasibly, as you said, you picking this game was a good case of proving that, but then also saying, okay, let's show off some stuff of this. And, hey, you don't know what you're going to get on the show, even when we say we're going to play a game that you want to see, or this we're going to say that we have on the schedule. I do like that. Yeah, these things are tough to defeat, but then again, in that case, you just keep going down the ladder and you got them.
Yeah, you can totally cheese these guys with a ladder.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you're also doing that in Top Man stage as well, so yeah. The ladder, I guess, in this game is something you can kind of use to your advantage. Maybe more than some of the other Mega Man games? A little? I don't know. What you'd say. Because I'm not sure necessarily.
It's no more or less than if you were, it's no more or less cheese than if, than if you were using ladders in any of the other games.
Yeah,
I don't think it's any more or less.
Okay, I mean, maybe it just seems more like the idea of all right, fine, this is what we've gotten. All right, so here's Needleman. Let's see how this takes. You hear that? It means, yeah, time to kill him.
Oh. 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 I forgot that he moved around so much.
Yeah, hardest part is the projectiles.
Yeah.
And that's honestly what I noticed when I was doing stuff with the Switch version of this about a month or so ago when they dropped it.
I have no idea how I'm still alive. Well, or was still alive.
Well, hey, he's like doing what you have to do to survive. And I said that was what happened when I was doing this with the Crusader 64 specifically, and Gem Knight 96 specifically as well. Actually, I'll mention him because he was helping with the test play for Majora's Mask for next week for the third part. He inadvertently was doing that for part 2, though. I was like, but yeah, for part 3 is where it's going to actually apply. You're almost there. You're doing some very good dodges. I liked seeing the way that was going.
Yeah.
If nothing else, though, it does reinforce that, yeah, these games are hard, but when you get through on any of them, you feel like you're top of the world.
Yep. I mean, really, it's finding that entry point into the 8-weapon chain.
Uh-huh.
And then, I mean, the rest is not, I mean, it's not going to be easy, but it's, once you get that first weapon, it makes things a lot easier.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, doesn't make it easy, but it does make it a lot easier.
Yeah, well, I guess also in my case, it might also be the kind of thing that if you play one of them enough, you get to the point where you understand the patterns enough and can manage it that way. Or actually, to be honest, when I played Mega Man X2, I did X-Buster every single one of the, Yeah, it's weird. It's not showing for the chat, but it's showing for us. I don't know why it's doing that, but whatever. But anyway, like for that game, for Mega Man X2, I did X-Buster the entire roster for it. But that's because I've been playing it for so long. So at that point, I understand, I guess, the elements of it. Whereas this was like, yeah, in some ways, I guess I'm better at some of those Mega Man X games than I am at some of the classic stuff. Even though some of those are harder than some of these. To some degree. I mean, I guess 6 is feasibly maybe one of the more approachable. Actually, 6, 7, and 8, I say, would be, and 10 are probably the 3 or 4 most approachable, I would say.
I love the music on this stage.
Oh, yeah. Actually, this is not our first appearance of, Proto Man, our brother, or to go to the Metal Gear Solid 2 thing. It's been a while, brother. I was like, yeah, that's all he's gonna do. He's just gonna jump around and shoot, but as long as you stay on the ground, yeah, you're not gonna be hurt, feasibly. You did sort of show him off when we played Mega Man 7, but we'll go back to Mega Man 7 eventually, just because I think it's probably worth doing that. Yeah, that was another case where I had weird glitches going on. Well, that was the collection I was running off of, where it locked up for some reason, and that was interesting to do that, or have that happen when I was running it. And he said he is a bullet, or he's the lemon sponge, just put it that way. Yeah, you take care of him.
Yay, lemons!
Yeah, I mean, that's the good case of that, for sure.
We are, okay, apparently not going to,
Yeah, deal with those, walking dudes. I don't remember what the names of those are. Do you?
Oh. Whoops.
Yeah, I'll put an edit of what their names are, because I thought those things have a name.
They do, everything has a name,
yeah.
basically.
That would be an interesting one for me to edit as well, just because of that very reason. Just put the names like, hey, I don't know the name of this character. Let's put it in right here. Actually, feasibly, yeah, we did see those, specifically the walking characters over there, or down there, in Mega Man 7. So, alright, fine. Alright, I have a question for you this way, Nocturne, for this. You're shooting out the lemons at him. What is he shooting at you?
Other lemons?
Yeah, that's a fair enough. Like, you got like the the mutated ones. I don't know, like they put them with, they stuff them with like other nutrients or something to overgrow them or something. I don't know. Mega Mans are all natural, feasibly. Is that the idea, maybe?
I don't know.
Sometimes it's interesting to think about weird stuff like that. And that's come up on that show as well, and that's the other thing I've liked. The idea that, hey, chat will ask questions like that, we'll ask questions like that, we'll go on this weird stuff, and as I said, it makes it unique. And I said, I love the fact that you improvised and said, hey, let's look at this. And I'm like, great. Fantastic for the show. Because, hey, it is the case of adding something extra, and it is worth doing that. You try to jump off the ladder?
No, I'm looking at those.
Alright, he's gonna push you off the ladder.
I was looking at some of the graphics, trying to figure out what the writing on them was supposed to be.
I'll have another picture here showing what that is, so you can at least get a sense. Benefit also recording yourselves, or us, or anybody else.
Yep.
Of course, the good old disappearing block puzzle.
I went in the wrong direction.
Yeah, this is one with Mega Man. The disappearing blocks, they'll stay for 2 cycles for the one, and they'll disappear, so get a sense of where the next one is. And handle it very nicely. Oh, do this one where there's a blowing fan here. Okay.
I think it's actually a magnet.
Or a magnet, okay. Either
Which
way,
would make sense because this is Magnet Man's stage. That's
true. Oh no, I think I was thinking of, there's something in Mega Man 9 that's like that, I believe. I'm trying to remember what that is.
Well, I keep having down pressed.
For the slide?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I don't want to slide, but I keep having it pressed.
No, I get that. Like, that was funny. It looked like you were kind of just, like, sliding off of that first, like, dee dee dee. There you go. Good job. Oh, except then they put it over Bottle's pit. Okay, yeah, that's where
this is gonna be brutal.
Okay. Alright, yeah, as you do it in one try. It's the Escape from the Cave of Wonders all over again. So good job. Sometimes that happens, you know. You think it's gonna be horrible? It's like, no, you do it in one try. And remember, this was not with practice. We did not practice this game whatsoever, as far as tonight, anyway. There you go.
I skipped one or 2 of them.
Which is smart to do that, but that's how these disappearing block puzzles tend to go. Pick with the good ones, which would be that one. Actually, there's some interesting ones in Mega Man and Vase, honestly. I would say, as far as how some of those tend to go. I say, yeah, you're inching forward very nicely to avoid those. I was like, yeah, just shoot there. Like, yeah, you can't catch me here, can't catch me here. So it's like, yeah, you're taunting them.
Oh, right. I have to actually go through that again. Damn it.
Yeah, well, still doing all right.
Well, I mean, I'm still going to net gain, but, I'm just going to damage boost through this thing.
Yeah, it seemed like it worked nicely.
And I have a couple extra lives this time, so I can use this round to just,
take Mega Man down.
Oh, whoops.
I believe the bosses all have the same patterns as they did in the NES editions. Am I right about that?
I believe so, but I can't really say for sure.
Okay.
I'm not actually all that familiar.
It was interesting me seeing that when for Mega Man Maverick Hunter X on PSP, which I've been playing stuff for that one, where I noticed that, hey, there's some bosses that do have new patterns, which was interesting to see.
Whoops. Whoops, shoot.
You almost have it.
I misjudged his jumping.
That being said, this might be the one that you're supposed to go after first. I mean, I'll put an edit saying, like, which is the preferred order, though feasibly, if you know what you're doing, you can make any of them in the preferred order. But in this case, his magnets are not hard to avoid, generally speaking. Because basically they'll drop where you drop, so as long as you walk out of the way, you're good.
Whoops.
Yeah, you're in good shape on this one for sure. Good job. Nice shot. There goes Magnet Man. Alright, so, good job.
I only got one boss beaten.
That's good. Is that it also, since you have a save file on this, and of course they did remember to include that in this retrobit version, that means that you do have that set there as you get the magnet, what do they call it? They'll probably tell us.
I forget what the name of it is.
It's not the magnet mine, that's Mega Man X2. But, okay, they have the magnet missile. Different than Magic Missile, but still the idea is similar in the sense that it'll kill things.
And even Magic Man doesn't get Magic Missile.
Which is weird. Yeah, from a Mega Man base. I'll put a picture of Magic Man here. He gets the magic card, which is useful in one way.
Oh yeah, the card is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But he's more focused on like card trick magic rather than magic.
Or whenever I think of that with Magic Man, I always think of Magic Man by heart saying, "Come on home, girl," he said with a smile. "I cast my spell of love on you, woman from a child." But yeah, there you go for that. Yeah, however you want to also show anything else with this, go ahead. It is up to you what you want to do. However you want else to run, or if you want to show one thing off of each game.
I think I might actually be winding down a bit.
Okay, so alright, so what do you want to end on as far as screen while we go into, the itinerary for the next couple weeks of the show, or next couple months, as is?
We'll go into Snake Man stage and sit.
Great choice. Okay. Alright, so, there you go. There's your little appendage as far as the play of Aladdin on the Sega Genesis, along with a little bit of a taste of Mega Man The Wily Wars. We will come back to this eventually and give it the full play one way or another, whether we'll probably split that across NES for the individual games. We'll definitely show the Wily Tower off, though that will, of course, require you beating all 3 of them on this cart. But yeah, that'll come eventually, for sure.
Yeah, but that's something like that we can probably work together toward. I mean, there are 3 save files on here, and Wily Tower is locked to completed save files, not to, as far as I know.
No, it is. You're right. Snake Man. Okay, so Dolly Finn, you were a fan of Snake Man, and what you're seeing here. I don't know. Do you want to? I'm gonna pick up this and show a quick thing. Fine. Let's kill him and him. Yeah, let's show the snake there. Actually, I don't think. Okay, actually, you know what? Fine. He's not gonna touch me. So fine. There's your case of Snake Man. Or fine, a snake that's in the Snake Man stage. Yeah, because in this you do have the snake heads and the great music here for Snake Man, which is a terrific piece of music. They actually did sample in Mega Man 7 when you're in the Robot Museum. But yeah, so thank you for adding to the show very nicely Nocturne with Mega Man The Wily Wars for the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I just thought it would be kind of fun to pop this out and try to beat a boss or 2.
Which I think goes to, as I said, you said, like, hey, all these things for this show that we're doing lined up that I wasn't intending, which were A, the 30th anniversary of Aladdin this year, the movie, B, the fact we're using the Game Genie to go along with it, and then also the idea that we're going to add in Mega Man The Wily Wars on the back of it. But honestly, I think it kind of ties in when we did Donkey Kong Country a couple weeks ago, in that I said, when I played that game, remember what I said when I was saying that Donkey Kong Country and then the Sonic Origin stuff I was showing with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, that was, I guess, inspiring my perspective of gaming at that time. For this one, it sounds like it's kind of similar to you in the sense that you grew up playing Aladdin. You, in a different way, I think, grew up with Mega Man to a certain degree. Yeah. But in a lot of ways, they connect to you so strongly.
Yeah. My main childhood experience with Mega Man was actually the Ruby Spears cartoon.
Okay, we'll put a picture of that here to show it. I'll put up one of the actual specific ones instead of the one that people meme, just because for variety's sake. I mean, look, we get to cases where we'll talk about that, we can talk about that. Or maybe I'll put them both in, but whatever.
And the first Mega Man game I owned was actually X4 on PlayStation.
Which is a good one, and we definitely have plans to do stuff with X4.
Well, technically, I bought X4 and Extreme 2, with Extreme 2 being on Game Boy Color at the same time.
Okay.
So both of them technically qualify?
Sure. So basically the same case, it was what you were saying to me with Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, which is you bought PSP for this game exclusively, and when I played of it, I understand that. And by the way, just to go into this chat, PSP is on the table. The thing about PSP is that I sometimes run into cases where when I'm playing it runs into this, do you want to quit the game? It automatically does that. I'm going to look into that. I haven't run into it recently. I was doing stuff with Maverick Hunter X. So at some point we definitely do stuff with PSP because I have the connections for it. So yeah, anything you want to see on PSP we can get running for sure. And Maverick Hunter X is going to be one I know you're going to call dibs on.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think we'll do both. We're going to do both that one and the original. I might do the original myself because I know you're okay on Mega Man X itself. If you're okay with that, or do you want to do the original on top of that? You want to be involved with that one?
I would prefer... how about you play the original, I play Maverick Hunter?
Do you want to be in on the original as well?
Sure.
Or okay.
I mean, we could probably even do them both in the same stream.
Feasibly, but I know also with Maverick Hunter X, I know you probably also want to show off the Vial mode.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Which is cool stuff.
Maverick Hunter X,
we could do it separate then.
I don't know whether we'll... I don't know whether it would be a content strike to show the Day of Sigma OVA, though.
I don't know. I mean, I can look into that. I mean, just to see. Actually, because one thing, I don't know, I might have mentioned this earlier in the show. The last show I was on, I got a content question. The last one she was on, I got a content question for one of the Sonic 1 Japanese commercials. But it's still something that's like, that's fine. Just you're not getting monetized in this, which is just not a monetized show. I'm basically paying to entertain you this way. It's like all the stuff that I'm, making happen. So stuff I'm getting, stuff you're getting, people I'm in connection with. That's how we're making the show run. So it's truly an independent gaming show that way, and going in deep as far as our memories and stuff with it. So yeah, I get that, and thank you so much, Nocturne, for showing off this twofer here for Aladdin and Mega Man The Wily, making it personal, as I said, the same way you did bookending nicely with Donkey Kong Country. Yeah. Hey, remember, Donkey Kong Country was an answer to Aladdin, so fitting we had that go both ways. Actually, to bookend the month of July, so just realized that. So again, another thing that maybe you weren't planning are thinking, oh, I'll do this, but it just sometimes all falls into place.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely spur of the moment to pop out Wily Wars.
Yeah, but that's also a good thing there, and I think chat was liking to see it, saying like, hey, let's go into this, let's talk into stuff with this. I wasn't expecting this was ElecVerse's case, and they said, that's the thing. We'll tell you what we're going to play for sure on the show. We're going to have extra stuff. We will give you a reason to watch the show for sure, or also to tune into it on the YouTube site. And on the YouTube site, we do have a lot of other games we play, and we got some great stuff up there. Stuff that her and I have been involved in, stuff that a lot of my other guests have been involved in as well, and some good stuff over there, and another great show for that. Thank you, Nocturne, for leading us through this one. And she will be back, by the way, in September. Let's go into the schedule then, as far as that. Next week, the Cristina 64 is coming back. We are doing part 3 of the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. We are actually using the Switch Online expansion pack case for it, for the play of that. He's controlling the next part of the game. We're at the Great Bay, and we got a lot to do over there. I'm pretty sure we should be able to finish that within 5 hours, as well as some other odds and ends. We dealt with some stuff, some paranormal activity over at the Romani Ranch. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, Romani and Cremi are holding steady for another week. Well, yeah, him and I are going to come back. It's like, yeah, we'll be there for you. So don't worry, everybody. We'll be back to that at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week on Saturday. The week after that might be Friday program. I don't know, but I'll give an update to that next week. I'll know for sure. But the next week of that, I mentioned that we were going to have a viewer request show that I was going to change as far as August, because I didn't know necessarily if the stuff I had was actually going to qualify for that. So let me pull some of that. In fact, I don't even think I've told you, Nocturne, what this is going to be. ElecVerse, I know you said you wanted to see some representation of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'm giving it to you. We are going to be playing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on the Super Nintendo, the first one that came out. Have you played that one?
The only one I've played was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie game on Game Boy.
Okay, and if you ever want to do that one, say the word. We can make it happen.
I don't remember where my copy is.
Okay, but as I said, we've said that we're going to be having stuff with that. That's come up. In fact, one of the voice performers for Jim and the Bombers actually is Trini in the Japanese version as well, which was kind of interesting. That go back to the part 2 of Majora's Mask. We go into that, but yeah, a couple weeks. Another one that's going to be a pretty short one, but also some stuff we could show off for that and get our Mighty Morphin Power Rangers representation. I think we need to have it, and as I mentioned to ElecVerse, I said we came up with this. We're talking with the idea that he has a fandom of this, and we did Streets of Rage. It is a beat 'em up, the same way something like Streets of Rage is. So we have that going, and we're going to do that before we do the potentially bad ones
and
later.
I believe the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie on Game Boy, has a Super Game Boy enhancement.
It does. So in that case, we can rationalize pulling the Super Game Boy out for that, actually feasibly having a game that is specifically enhanced for it as opposed to the ones we've done so far.
Yeah. I mean, they are specific enhancements. The game itself is designed for the original black and white Game Boy.
Yeah,
or should I say black and green?
Depending on which one. If you have a Game Boy Pocket, it is black and white. Or feasibly that, but that is interesting, and we can definitely get to that stuff as we do more for Super Game Boy eventually. But yeah, 2 weeks, Friday or Saturday. I'll announce that next week. I just have to get some schedule and stuff figured for that. We're playing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on Super Nintendo to start for that. And the week after that, I talked to a Medics today. He said he should be feasibly able to do August 20th for part 2 of Parasite for the PlayStation. We will continue that. We're definitely looking forward to continuing that game. And as I said, it's also giving a good variety on the show. What other show you're going to have, just jumping from all these games that seem like they have nothing in common across. And then the week after that, the end of August, August 27th, Protorova, who's in the chat, we're going to be playing our next movie-based game. It is going to be another seminal one. So perfect planning again, Nocturne on this one. We're playing GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo 64, which is celebrating its 25th anniversary on August 25th, or August 28th, depending on who you ask. GoldenEye, yes, absolutely, Protorova. I'm looking forward to doing that one with you in about a month. We're going to be playing through that whole game. Him and I are going to be doing a little different case. We're going to alternate off on stages we're going to play through. And when we go through all the single-player stages, we're also going to show off the multiplayer. Because, hey, GoldenEye made its claim to fame on the multiplayer, which merely tacked on, as Rare said. But it was like, well, you couldn't tell if you're playing it because, hey, this is so much fun. And also, we'll show that in 16:9 as far as display, because it has an option for that. A game in 1997 that has 16:9 native. So make that happen for that. And then in September, next time Nocturne's going to be on the show is going to be the 20th, I believe it is. It's the third weekend of the
right.
of that. We're going to be playing the quest Dolly Finn made, Sonic Mania. We're going to play the Xbox One version because I have everything unlocked, and it also means we can show the bonus stages off in that. We'll see what's going to go on with if we would need to show off Mania or Encore mode that the Plus mode adds or the Plus edition adds into the show. We'll show what we can as far as like co-oping into the Sonic game that way. And also, on top of that, we'll have the second part, or the next couple parts for Parasite Eve and Majora's Mask at dates to be determined, which is going to be somewhere in the first 2 weeks. And then Dolly Finn is going to be in on September 27th for Tetris Attack for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, multiplayer 2. In that case, bring Nocturne over. Yeah, definitely the idea of, exactly that idea. The thought that, you have multiplayer running in multiplayer.
I mean, we could do that. I'm not very good at it, but I'd be happy to help show off the multiplayer.
If you're free on the 30th, we can do, or on the 27th, we can do that.
Let's see, that's the 27th of August, right?
Yeah, if you want to do that,
yeah,
feel free.
I'd be open.
Okay. All right, so yeah, make an announcement on the show that way. Yeah, we'll have 3-player running on GoldenEye. Okay, awesome. So that's how we'll run that one. And
however, I'll do it on one condition: no one uses Odd Job.
We have to show off Odd Job.
Well, I mean, no one uses Odd Job except to show him off, and then we go back to just like Odd Job is a terrible character to play against.
Yeah, although feasibly there might also be an issue challenge, or fine, then we'll balance that off with Jaws specifically, because he's the opposite case. He's the biggest character in the game, fitting as far as that. So, all right, and thank you, Dr. saying as far as Tetris Attack, that's fair. So yeah, fair enough. So that's the idea of it, and I guess that goes to what we were saying earlier, which is that Rare said that the multiplayer of Golden, we'll go on that when we play it, was tacked on, but so okay, maybe that's an indication, but you know what? Even then, it still feels so much fun. And hey, it changed gaming overnight. We will go into that for sure at the end of August and September, as I mentioned, for Tetris Attack. Of course, Dolphin, no problem for that. And then we get into October. We're going to have some big stuff going. Actually, you know what? May as well go into some of the October stuff because I've announced some of it already. I announced the House of the Dead 2 remake, or the House of the Dead 1 remake. I actually have my Joy-Cons fixed, waiting in my house that I will be able to get that running to show that. Crochet Nerd 64 is going to be showing off Shadow Hearts. He's going to start that as far as the RPG. And I guess we'll feasibly have Parasite Fish by then. And Mischief Makers for Nintendo 64 is going to be the first one for October. So, and Majora's Mask we keep going with as it is. So, if we don't need another part for Parasite Eve, we only need 3. We might need 4, given what I'm going to do with that game. What we're going to do with that. I'll have something else tossed in for that as an extra or a replacement game. But yeah, that's what the show is looking like. And as I mentioned, also like versus since you mentioned it or we mentioned it earlier, November 20th is going to be the next Disney game we're going to play, which is Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse for the Super Nintendo. I don't know if you've played that. I barely, but I have it, so we'll run it.
Yeah. Oh, just a heads up. When I join for the multiplayer, I'm probably going to be bringing one of my own controllers because I know it has a great stick. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And it also have batteries running in the Rumble Pack, so like I got the Nintendo one and then the Rockers of newbies. I do have 3, so it fits well. The purpose of that, but yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, that'll be great. Okay, so Dolphin, you're looking forward to it. Hope everyone out in chat is looking forward to all those shows. You enjoyed this show tonight, and Nocturne, you're looking forward to the shows we got, and thank you for that. I'd love to see House of the Dead. I'll tell. Fine. Last thing, we can take this 3 hours. We can make a 3-hour show of this game. I'll tell you this. One of my coworkers, I was talking to him a couple weeks ago. I mentioned this when we did Tetris 2 last week, saying, he said, when are they going to release that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection? When I found out, I said, August 30th. But I said, okay, I was kind of waxing philosophical as far as some stuff. And I said, hey, I got the House of the Dead remake. I was like, wait, they made a remake of this? I was like, yes, they did. And I said, I didn't hear about this. My wife loves this. So basically what he did, as soon as he was on his lunch break, he went over, he said, like, I went on Amazon, I just bought the House of the Dead, and I bought 2 of those light gun holsters. I gotta buy one of those, actually, when we get to that point, to play that. So I was like, yeah, at that point, the House of the Dead, we're definitely gonna go into that. You played House of the Dead?
I know we've kind of casually played Typing of the Dead before.
And, yeah, that is hers, by the way. We're going to do Typing the Dead. My only question, though, is how is the sound going to work with that if we're going to clacking keyboards?
No, it's not just going to be mine. Weren't we going to get a second keyboard?
I have the second one. Or the method for the second, but the click-clacking of all the keys there. That's going to be interesting because, yeah, Typing the Dead is a masterpiece. Where they took House of the Dead 2 and turned it into a typing game. Who the hell would do that? Sega would. And also, who would take House of the Dead, turn it into a pinball game with Pinball the Dead on the Game Boy Advance? Sega would.
And in some ways, I kind of think that it would kind of fit the theme of that game to have a bit of keyboard sound.
Yeah. I just got to get a sense of how the sound is going to pick up on this, so we'll have to figure out where we're going to put the mic of that. But I'll tell you what we'll do at some point. You and I will do, on a time we're not going to do that game, we'll do practice just to get a sense of what is that going to sound like. Because that is a game we do need to show off, because Tommy Tallarico is a fantastic game, very unique game, and goes with the House of the Dead, and Dolphin would love to see House of the Dead. Yeah, you want it, you got it. We're going to be starting with House of the Dead Remake on Switch, because it is the one that has the motion control, so we can do the like-gun stuff, is on other systems as well, and also because it's cheaper than the Sega Saturn. I love that game in the arcade, as did I. And they keep going with that franchise, 1, 2, 3, 4, and Scarlet Dawn, I believe, is the newer one. And I actually also have House of the Dead 4. Actually, I have the first 4, specifically, because I have the remake on Switch. I have 1, 2 on the Wii, I have 2 on the Dreamcast as well, and I have 4 on PS3. At some point, we'll do go through all of those, and Typing the Dead. Actually, I think the only one I don't have is, of the home releases, is Saturn of House of the Dead 1, which is very rough, and also the Pinball of the Dead, which is a very interesting one, but I should try and look and see if I can't get one of those. But yeah, so there you go. That is your case of it, and that also goes to what you were saying with the show, which is that it doesn't necessarily matter that we finish this. We've been standing here for 20 minutes while that the snake up there has horrible aim. He's missing Mega Man constantly. He's like, yeah, maybe just standing there. It's like, yeah, he's not even doing the Marvel vs. Capcom thing or Marvel vs. Capcom 2 thing of he's not doing that. I'll put a picture of that as well when I edit this as well. So he's just standing there. It's like, yeah, he's just totally saying like, okay, fine. Rest here, and we will come back to you eventually. Mega Man, our friend.
Yeah, he is studying the scales on the snake.
Yeah, he's studying the scales of the snake. He's saying, okay, what are we going to do when we come back to this game? When Nocturne and I come back to it, and we definitely will eventually at some point in the future. Alright, I think with that, we did get a good case of 3 hours out of the program for this, with a lot of variety, a lot of unexpected stuff, and we intend to keep that going every week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as is the case, and as I said, anytime chat, Nocturne, any connection, want to see anything, let us know, we'll make it happen. It'll go on the master list. Keep the requests coming, we will get to them. To quote the Console Wars program. Alright, so with that, we will wish you a great night, a great rest of your weekend and week coming forward. Thank you so much for watching Super Game Saturday. Thank you so much, Nocturne, for making this another great program.
Yeah, I had a great time.
I had a wonderful time, too. I will see you next week with the Crusader 64 for Part 3 of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Until then, keep being awesome. Have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for everything. And take care.
Good night, everyone.